majority owner and CEO.
I mean, we're going after YouTube.
Okay.
Get your mind around that.
Allen stopped by Bloomberg and spoke to Bloomberg TV's Romain Bostic about his big plans to make BuzzFeed into what he's framing as a free TV super app that combines news, weather, and entertainment content. He's already got a big part of that infrastructure with another one of his businesses called Local Now.
Local Now uses artificial intelligence and proprietary software to curate, aggregate, and stream super hyper-local news, weather, sports, and traffic. Geofence to your zip code. Yeah, it is magnificent. Here's the problem. No one knows about it.
Allen thinks that combining the streaming business he already built with the content and brand recognition of BuzzFeed will vault the operation to new success.
A lot of guys like to buy businesses in the penthouse and take them down to the lobby. I like to buy them in the lobby and take them to the penthouse.
I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
With the new MyLowe's Pro Rewards American Express card, earn 3 points per dollar spent on Lowe's qualifying purchases for the first 6 months after card account opening. Plus, save 5% every day on eligible purchases at Lowe's and earn points on eligible purchases everywhere else Amex is accepted. Card members get more at Lowe's. Subject to credit approval. 5% can't be combined with any other offer. Exclusions and restrictions apply. Points subject to loyalty terms at Lowe's.com/terms and credit reward terms at Synchrony.com/MLPRA-terms. Visit Lowe's.com/business credit.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Milwaukee Black Talk lives here on 101.7 FM and 1510 AM, W269DL Milwaukee, and WGKB Waukesha.
He steps to the mic with a boom, ping, ping. Wisdom sharper than a beast's fierce sting. Words like fireflies that light the night. He turns the dark into blazing bright. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, oh, the airwaves king. Shake the ground, unveils the truth where lies abound. Politics, justice, social streams. He molds the chaos into dreams. No silence here, just the sound of change. Boom, ping, ping, rearrange. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, or the airwaves king. Through the static, through the noise, he amplifies the people's voice. Boom, ping, ping, like a heartbeat's call. He's got the wisdom to break down walls. Yeah.
Good morning. Welcome to the program. Today is Thursday, July 16th, 2026. Most of you, I am assuming, have never worked on a political campaign professionally. you've maybe knocked on some doors, or maybe you've made some telephone calls, or maybe you did some literature distribution where you're going in a neighborhood or a specified area and you have the little flyers and the door hangers and the little pamphlets, and you will distribute them on the houses in a particular neighborhood for your candidate of choice. But most people, I would say, because it's a very niche profession, it also does not offer what we call long-term employment stability, because campaigns do not last forever. Now, they are consistent, but they also have a start date and they have an end date. So I'm safe in assuming that most of you are fully unaware of all of the different categories and the expenditures that are involved in a political campaign. They essentially are corporations that are tasked with raising money, collecting money, and then allocating that money to different spending categories that we hope will maximize the vote totals for that candidate. The last big primary that we had in the city of Milwaukee was the race for mayor, when Cavalier Johnson ultimately was successful. And there were several candidates that were in that race. Ernell Lucas ran for mayor. I believe current alderwoman Marina Dmitrievich, she ran for mayor. Lena Taylor ran for mayor. Lena Taylor ran for mayor a lot, and she didn't win any of the times, but that's okay. She's a judge now. And I did this thing in the mayoral race because I saw how much money each candidate raised for their campaigns. Now, remember, in a campaign, you've got to pay staff. You're probably going to have some travel expenses. And in a statewide campaign like Wisconsin, you got hotels. You got to buy advertising. You have to do TV advertising. We hope they do radio advertising and digital advertising. And you have to have a political director. You have to have a whole bunch of different people. And each of these people are professionals, and they command a fairly high salary. So I'm going to go through all of different categories just so people can get an idea of how much money a political campaign actually costs. It's staggering. And so when you hear these insane dollar amounts that candidates raise, it doesn't make any sense to you, because you're thinking, well, wait a minute, this candidate has got $300,000. This one has $400,000, $500,000. That seems like a lot of money. No, it's not. No, it is not. Now, we've also come to find out exactly how much money Sarah Rodriguez does have on hand. She is the current lieutenant governor. The dollar amount is staggering, but I'm going to get to that in a minute. You're going to be shocked. In fact, when I received the information about how much money the current incumbent lieutenant governor has in her campaign account as she is running for governor, I was like, I know you freaking lying. I had to read it again. Then I had to go find another story or another article, and I had to go look at the documents, because I know what all of the hoopla that's been caused and all the people dropping out of the race, and then they drop out of the race and they endorse Sarah Rodriguez. I just knew she had a whole bunch of money, that she had what we call a war chest that was so big, it literally would intimidate all of the other candidates out of the race. Whoa, wait until I tell you how much money she... I have more money than she does, and I'm not rich. I do okay. I punch above my weight a little bit. I mean, I'm not a wealthy man now. Don't worry, I will be. So, ladies, if you want to start gold digging, start now. Get in at the ground level when it's easy, because once I get up to the top, I'm going to be hard to catch now. Just letting you know. But I want to give you guys a baseline understanding of how much money a candidate needs to be successful. And so when you hear these astronomical dollar amounts that they raise, it seems like a lot, but it really isn't. And that money goes very, very quickly. So there was a thing that I did during the mayoral campaign that must have been 2022. And I want to figure out, based on how much a candidate raises and how many votes they got. Now, obviously, Cavalier Johnson won the primary and he won the general election. But how much are they spending per vote? Right? So if you raise $10,000 and you get 100 votes, then that's $10 a vote, right? Am I doing that right? If you raise $10,000 and you get 100 votes, that's $10 a vote, right? Yes. No. Yes, I think, maybe. If you raise $10,000 and you get 10 votes, that's $1,000 a vote. So on and so forth. And I was looking at the dollar amounts that were raised in the mayoral contest where we had a big primary. Ernell Lucas, who lost, spent something like $40 or $50 per vote. And Lena Taylor actually had the lowest cost per vote. So based upon the amount of money that she raised when she was running for mayor and the amount of votes that she got, Lena Taylor is like $1.50 per vote, which I think says a lot for the strength of her campaign, her name recognition. There's a number of people that were obviously comfortable with her leadership as mayor. Now, she obviously didn't win, but the lower your cost per vote, because you got to advertise to voters, you got to do direct mail to voters, you got to go and knock on their doors, and you got to hire people to go and canvass neighborhoods and drop literature. You have to do a whole bunch of things, and all of those different categories add up. In fact, some of the vendors that produce materials that candidates use, they will inflate their prices because they can, because there's not a whole bunch of vendors that are able to provide the services, the specific services the campaigns need. And here's the other trick. This is the deception of the entire thing. You know that the money that these candidates are spending is not their own. They're raising it from other people. So something that you may not be okay spending $10,000 on, if it's your $10,000, you may be okay spending $10,000 for a voter file or for a whole bunch of printed copies of your literature if the money was raised and came from other people. So everything is just kind of skewed and everything is exceptionally expensive. So I want to make sure that you guys know what these categories are, because I want us to be much more well-informed about the impact and influence of money in politics. Sometimes people think like, oh, if this candidate raised $30 million for their campaign, they're putting a whole bunch of that money in their pocket. They really can't. The only way you can get money from donors and put it back in your pocket is if you loan the campaign your own personal finances. So if Xavier decides he wants to run for president, Xavier may loan his presidential campaign $5 million to get started because he's going to need a 50-state operation. He's going to need volunteers, and he's going to need infrastructure, and he's going to need to do advertising in all 50 states. So he may take $5 million of his personal wealth and put it in the campaign, and it's marked on the campaign finance report as a personal loan. And when you mark it on your campaign finance report as a personal loan, you can go out and fundraise, and you can have the fundraising events, and you can go on Hassan Piker's podcast, and people can send you a whole bunch of money. And Xavier will say, okay, I'll take that money. I'll take it because I'm paying myself back for a loan that I noted on my campaign finance report. That is legal, that is legitimate, and it's actually quite common. You will start your campaign with your own money. And as you're out there talking to people and getting your name out there, and folks are getting much more familiar with your ideas and your platform, and they'll send you checks, they'll donate online. They might even give you cash, which is legal as long as you have a receipt. And then all of those dollars that you collect, you can use to pay yourself back because you loaned yourself $5 million, or in the case of Xavier, he loaned himself $5 million. None of you worry. Xavier's not running for president. And if you did, you're not going to win. No offense. Don't be offended by that. I'm trying to save you. It's a dangerous job, Xavier.
That's what Brock said to Donald Trump.
Yeah, he didn't believe it, though. And plus, if you were president, well, who in the hell is going to produce the show? You know what I mean?
Zach
is he's very busy. He's got a long day. You know, that's why he comes in with sandwiches. He comes in with all his food he needs for the day, because once he comes into the producer studio, he ain't leaving until the sun goes down. Poor fella. I'm going to take a break. When I come back, I'm going to reveal to you the different categories, of course, that candidates have to fund in order to have a successful campaign. I'm also going to tell you the dollar amounts that the current candidates in the race for governor have. And the most important figure you likely will hear all day is the amount of money that the current incumbent lieutenant governor has in her campaign coffers. Now, but here's the thing. I think that She probably told other candidates, maybe even David Crowley, like, hey, David, I've got a whole bunch of money. You can't compete with the amount of money that I have. I'm a much more viable candidate because I can spend and spend and spend, and I can reach out to voters in all 72 counties because of how much money that I have. And David Crowley was like, oh, I can only spend money in 5 or 6 counties. Maybe I should drop out and endorse you. Before I give you the actual dollar amount, when David Crowley dropped out of the race, when did he drop out? Last week? I don't even remember. Late last week?
This week.
It's this week. David Crowley has more money in his suspended campaign than the current lieutenant governor who is still a candidate for governor. Here's the part that is perplexing me. As lieutenant governor, do you know what your job duties are? Here, I'll tell him. You ready? Count of 3. I'm going to tell you what the job duties are of the current lieutenant governor or any lieutenant governor of the state of Wisconsin. 3, 2, 1. Nothing. You don't do anything. All you can do is just travel around the state and be like, hi, I'm lieutenant governor. I'm just here just to say hello. You can just have a bunch of fundraisers and raise money for your campaign because one day you'll run for governor. That's it. As lieutenant governor, all you do is raise money. Go to events, put on nice clothes, and you go to stuff, you shake hands, go to ribbon cuttings. You go to the Chippewa River because they'll have a dedication of the Chippewa River. They'll dedicate a new campground. That's what you do. And then you go home at night, you have dinner, you go to bed at like 9:30. And maybe you wake up in the middle of the night because you're lieutenant governor and you scroll Facebook. Maybe you're getting hit up in your DMs for somebody that wants to come over and hit it late at night. I don't know. You're lieutenant governor. You can get hit up in your DMs. Whatever. That's what you do. And then you wake up in the morning. You're like, it's morning and I'm lieutenant governor. Whatever shall I do today? And then maybe you have some Eggs Benedict. You see what's on the television. Maybe watch a Netflix documentary wearing your most comfortable slippers. And then you go back to sleep. And you wait for the governor to die. And then in the meantime, you just raise money. That's the job. I'd be a very good lieutenant governor. I would be the best. Because I'd still do my radio show. And then I would, every so often, I would lieutenant govern.
How much money do they make?
$66,000 a year. That's crap. But you don't do anything. In fact, I think that their office budget, I know it is. Their office budget is probably $1 million. But their salary is $66,000 unless they raised it. Here's another crazy fact for you. A member of the Wisconsin State Senate, which is the upper, more prestigious chamber of the Wisconsin legislature, I think they make $52,000 a year. But if you're chief of staff for a Wisconsin state senator, you can make $120,000 a year. Imagine working for a senator that makes 66% less money than you. The senator can be like, hey, I need you to do this, this, and this, and this. You'd be like, shut up. I make more money than you, ho. I wouldn't suggest you call your boss a hoe, but I mean, if the shoe fits. Okay. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we know dads, the ones who know how to build it all, grill it all, and fix it all while still taking the time to share it all. So show them how much you care with great Father's Day gifts for one-of-a-kind dads. Like 20% off select automotive accessories, $350 combined savings on a Craftsman tool chest cabinet combo, plus 16 packs of Duracell AA or AAA batteries, $12.99. Find value on the Gifts Hill value. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, though, may I ask if there are any unlocked guns in your home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Maybe, just maybe, naughty girls need love too.
Mandela Barnes raised $841,358. He currently has $204,207 on hand. Franny Pants raised $708,884. She currently has $410,563 on hand. Joel Brennan, who I think should be the choice for the blacks. We'll talk about that later. Joel Brennan raised $665,627. He has $359,583 cash on hand. Sarah Rodriguez, who we thought had $2 million, ultimately raised $561,817, and she has $34,990 cash on hand. She is broke. Her campaign is completely bankrupt. And so whatever her documents said, the campaign finance reports where she just fired her campaign manager, you got to keep in mind, Sarah Rodriguez ultimately had to sign off on documents that were fraudulent and lied about how much money she has. Sarah Rodriguez has $34,000. David Crowley dropped out of the race, and David Crowley had over $300,000. I need you to understand something. David Crowley dropped out of the race with 10 times as much money as the current lieutenant governor. And lieutenant governor, all she had to do over the last 4 years was just travel around the state and raise money. $34,000. Her campaign can't survive the end of the week. She can't pay her staff with that money. How do you go from thinking you have $2 million? Now, here's the thing. I ain't no math expert now. I just tried to do some simple math just a second ago. Doing math on the fly and doing math on the radio is never a recommended idea. But I know the difference between $2 million and $34,000. She knew she didn't have no damn money. Ain't no way that I can think I have $2 million and only have $34,000. That's a big difference. That's the difference of like 60 times. She's got 60 times less money. That is insane to me. But let me go ahead and just put this out here. She's not qualified to be governor. If you can't keep track of your money and you signed off on documents that come on now. You know how much money you raise because these candidates are out there grinding. They're on the phone. They're going to different events. 90% of what a candidate does, especially in the early part of their campaign, is raising money because you need to show your viability. You show your viability by raising a lot of money because then that shows not just the voters in the state of Wisconsin, but it shows the other opponents that you have relative strength because people are willing to invest their money in your campaign. And let me be real clear with you. Getting someone to donate to a campaign is damn near impossible. Most of you have never given a penny. Now, most of you, I'm assuming, pay attention, and most of you are voters, but most of you have never given any money because the people that actually give, individual people, is very small. That's why the money comes from corporations. Now, individual donors can compete and can contribute more, believe it or not, than corporations. We just opt not to do it. And then we wonder why so many of our elected officials are bought and sold because their political futures are oftentimes tied to the corporate donations and the political action committee donations that our elected officials get from special interests because we don't contribute any money. If you talk to most elected officials, especially at the local level, they would rather their money come from their voters and their constituents because it makes it a lot easier to be accountable to them. Because that elected official can say, you know what, if I'm not accountable to the people that put me here, that voted for me, and the people that allow me to have enough money so I can run for re-election, then I don't deserve to be in office. But then once your money starts flowing in from outside groups and special interest groups, you begin to diminish the voices of your actual constituents because they're not putting money in your campaign coffers, and you can't run a successful campaign with no money. It's damn near impossible. According to the latest filings submitted by the midnight deadline, the Democratic candidates for governor raised the following amounts during the first 6 months of the year. According to campaign finance filings, Mandela Barnes raised $841,358. He has $204,000 in the bank. Francesca Hong raised $708,884. She's got $400,010 in the bank. Joel Brennan raised $665,627. She's got $359,583 in the bank. Sarah Rodriguez reportedly raised $561,817. She's got $34,990. She can't even buy a car with that. How you going to advertise on 101.7 The Truth, Sarah, with $34,000? How you going to advertise anywhere? How you going to get lunch with $34,000? Kelda Roy's raised $527,432. She has $406,492 in the bank. David Crowley dropped out of the race with $315,000. David Crowley has 10 times the amount of money as a suspended candidate than Sarah Rodriguez has right now. Sarah Rodriguez's campaign came by a Toyota Camry. They can't afford to get a new Toyota. She can't even get a mid-sized SUV. Now, here's what absolutely needs to happen. And I'm going to reiterate this when I do my podcast this evening on Hughes Views 414 on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed, go on over to Hughes Views 414 on YouTube and do that thing for your boy. The only reason why Sarah Rodriguez is staying in the race for governor because she cannot win with $34,000. So every day she stays in the race, she is raising money for her debts that her campaign has incurred. She owes $152,000. She's got $152,000 in deferred expenses. She only has $34,000 on hand. Let me do a little quick math here. She owes $120,000 right now. She's in the hole $120,000. But the longer she stays in the race, she can still raise money as a gubernatorial candidate, but if you give money to her now, it's not to elect her governor. It's so she doesn't have to come out of her own pocket $120,000. And here's what this tells me. Her campaign was never viable from the start, and that doesn't shock me because most people don't even know who she is. The first several polls that we got starting out earlier this year, she was at the absolute very bottom, and she's the current lieutenant governor. She's a statewide elected official. But that's the thing. If you're a current statewide elected official and people don't know who you are, why are you trying to run for a higher position when no one knows who you are in the current position that you're in? I would frankly be embarrassed. She's better off taking a job over at We Energies. They'll pay better. I hope I'm not sounding mean. I'm just being realistic because she lied to us. And then, so I feel bad for her campaign manager. So where's the story at? It's over here somewhere. Rodriguez intentionally hired a staffer with past financial woes to oversee her money. That's bad decision making. If you knew that this person that you were hiring had been evicted and owed their landlord $8,000, and you're going to put them over your finances for your campaign, that just shows poor decision-making. And so then when the campaign manager, I guess, made all these mistakes, and the buck stops with Sarah Rodriguez because she had to sign off on everything. But then she threw that girl under the bus. They had a story in yesterday's Milwaukee news media just putting, her name is Kara Spencer, the former campaign manager for Sarah Rodriguez, that Sarah Rodriguez is blaming all of her financial troubles on. It's not that she stole the money. They just lied about how much they had. Sarah Rodriguez threw her under the bus. Did all that jaw jacking, you only got $34,000. That's not even a down payment on an average size house in Milwaukee. What can you buy with $34,000? You can't buy a Toyota. That is a low wage annual salary. $34,000 is. You can buy a boat. Sarah Rodriguez can buy a Sarah for Wisconsin boat, little boat, go fishing maybe. What else can you buy with $34,000? A camper. Go drive your camper around Yellowstone. That's what you can do. I know David Crowley has got to be kicking himself. He dropped out of the race and endorsed Sarah Rodriguez that same day. And then we come to find out that David Crowley has got $300,000 and Sarah Rodriguez has $34,000. David has got 10 times the amount of money as the white woman in the race. He has 10 times the amount of money as the current incumbent lieutenant governor. That is insane. But hold on now. Let me be clear. I love David. David is a bad decision maker too. David should have. Well, so David suspends his campaign for whatever reason. He didn't have a pathway to victory. We got to be honest about that. He didn't. But before you endorse somebody, okay, an endorsement is a reference. People ask Sherwin for references all the time. Not sure why. But before I provide myself as a reference for somebody else, I got to know who I'm supporting. Hey, Sherwin, can I use you as a reference? I mean, do you sell dope? Do you like to touch little kids? Do you have a lot of outstanding warrants and tickets? Are you wanted in the state of Georgia? Have you ever robbed a bank before? There's like a battery of questions that you should go through. And David Crowley should have said, hey, Sarah Rodriguez, I might endorse you, but let me see if everything is on the up and up. Let me check your campaign finances. Let me look into your background a little bit. He did so blindly, and that's troubling because if you're a black elected official, you can't just listen to white folks. There's somebody got in David's ear, and they said, David, just drop out and endorse Sarah. He's like, all right. Where'd that get you? David at home with us. He dropped out of his own Super Bowl, and now he going to watch the game from the couch. Take a break, come back. We'll talk to the town on the other side. And those are always interesting conversations. Xavier, you running for president?
No.
Okay, just making sure.
I don't
If
think I'm
so,
old enough.
you probably could raise more than $34,000.
Yeah, probably.
I've raised more than $34,000 for Canada. I could raise $34,000 in 10 days because I know rich people. I just call up 10 of them and be like, hey, it's your boy. Let me get $3,400 real quick. All right, Sherwin, who do I make the check out to? This is insane. The Republicans are like, you dumb sons of biscuits. Oh, they having a field. Oh, Tom Tiffany's got $2 million on hand. He's just sitting on his money. He's chill. He's weird. He lives with his mother type of weird. He's got a commercial with an AI cow in it. He's weird. He's weird, creepy, like never had a girlfriend weird. Like never been touched before, kind of weird. You can just tell he's a 70-year-old that ain't had none since it had him.
I don't know about that. He probably has had some, but he probably won't disclose it.
No, I don't think he's
because
you can tell.
It probably goes against his religion.
Well, that's the excuse because if you're a man that can't get laid, you got to blame something.
Well, I think he's getting laid, but
you think it's probably by another man? You think he's gay?
Yeah, most of these Republicans are.
I don't even think a gay man would have sex with him. At least Lindsey Graham has some swagger. Like Lindsey Graham in his day was probably getting a lot of twink tail.
Money,
he was.
Money talks.
I suppose. But I don't even see Tom Tiffany even being cool enough to pay for it, even being transactional like that. If you watch his demeanor in his commercials, and his mama is always in the commercials. I don't like that. That's Mandela doing that stuff too. His daddy and stuff is always in the commercials. Then when he ran for Senate in 2022, do y'all remember that there was a commercial where Mandela he said he was going to be a protector of women's rights. They put his mama in a commercial, and his mama said in the commercial that she had an abortion. Oh my God, I would never in my life. And I don't want to know if my mother has ever had an abortion. I know this much. She didn't have two. One is named Tyler, one is named Sherwin. Thank you, mama. But that was crazy. Why would you put your family out there like that? Because that stuff lives out there forever. So every time I see Mandela's mama, I'm like, damn. And I look at Mandela, I'm like, you lucky, buddy.
I mean, have you seen any of his latest commercials?
No.
I mean, I don't think he really has a soul, so I think he just do anything for a vote.
I played a part of one of the interviews that he did with, I think either Fox 6 or CBS 58. They're doing these exposés on the candidates. And I played a little snippet of it on the Hughes Views 414 podcast last night. And Mandela said, my top issue was urgency. What is that? How does urgency make the cost of healthcare go down? How does urgency stop? It's the fire's going on. There's fire outside. Did you guys smell the fire? It's Camp's fire. Canada's on fire right now, and it's in Wisconsin. We should sue Canada. Donald Trump, take over Canada. No, don't. Because I don't want the burden of Canada. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on where you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
At Versity on King, we believe taking care of our community starts right here, together. Every day, neighbors step up to donate blood, helping save lives in Milwaukee and beyond. But Versity on King is more than a donor center. It's a place for health education, community connection, and support, especially for families facing conditions like sickle cell disease. When you donate blood, you're not just giving, you're showing up for your community. Visit versity.org/VersityOnKing to learn more or schedule your donation today. Versity on King, rooted in community, powered by hope.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
Mommy, can I sit in the front seat just this one time? Please, please, please.
No, not yet.
But why?
Because I love you, and you're just not ready yet. Now, get in the back so I can get you in your car seat, please.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love. Check that your kids are in the right seat at NHTSA.gov/the right seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Our phone number is 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. Let's talk to a patiently waiting in the town. You're on 1017 The Truth. How are you?
What's going on, sir?
Just hanging out at the job. What's on your mind?
Number one, this what's the name? This Canada stuff is it's making Milwaukee look real like dystopic, like RoboCop or something like that. This is crazy. This is looking up at the sky or whatever like that. It's like the skies ain't clear or nothing. That's messed up. But I really wanted to call about what you was just saying about Crawley. You know what I'm saying? And I be listening to you. You always got something good to say about Crowley. And I'm not, you know what I'm saying, I'm not here to say good or bad about him. But if you get kicked, if you you know what I'm saying, step off the race, right? And then not even 24 hours, then you go immediately, you back this woman. I thought that was strange anyway. Like you don't even want to shop around, or unless you have something else baked in the cake. Like, okay, I'm finna get out and I'm finna throw my support behind the Sarah Rodriguez female, and she already know it. And then turn around, then Sarah Rodriguez not only don't know how to deal with her money, but she don't even got no money. So I gotta go with what the kids say, cheap hours. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on here? What is going on? One thing I do agree with you about, though, is that the Republicans and Tom Tiffany now, they're having a nice, good laugh about this too. And if I was Tom Tiffany, I would be looking at these guys. All of them is like, Y'all don't even got y'all stuff together. That would be my. You know what? If I was messing with them, if I was a Republican or whatever like that, if I was one of them, you know what I'm saying? What's the dude's name? Dude with the big teeth out there in South Carolina. If I was those guys, I would be
Tim
like,
Scott.
yeah. If I was Tim Scott, goofy looking ass, if I, with, them type of guys, and I was messing with Tom Tiffany, I would say my platform would be, I'm Tom Tiffany. I'm running as a Republican. I got my shit together. Everybody don't. That would be my thing, because when I look at the Democrats, I'm looking like, where's no? Do you guys have a plan individually? Do you have a plan collectively? Like, y'all can't even say, and y'all, I mean in we, because, you know what I'm saying, I'm with the Democrats too. We can't say what we're going to do if X, Y, and Z happens. Oh, what happens when Crowley gets out? Or what happens if you know what I'm saying, if you lose, are you prepared to go with Francesca Hong or Hong? If you lose, are you willing to put your support fully behind ex-Democrat to make sure that that this purple state turns Democrat? You know what I mean? Like, that's the question right there. It just came to me. Answer me this question. Where is the plan between the Democrats in this governor race? What's up with that? What is the plan? Is there one?
Yeah. Try to beat the Republican.
How?
I don't know.
I mean,
you asked me what the plan was. That's all I know. Well, the plan is for the individuals in the primary, for them to, one of them is going to have a message that's going to resonate with a larger number of voters, and we narrow it down from 6 to 1, and then they put together the actual strategy, which is probably going to be affordability and a bunch of anti-Trump stuff, et cetera, et cetera. But I appreciate your call, the town. So I put together a list of things that Sarah Rodriguez can buy with $34,000. I feel like I need some background music for this. I'm just trying to help her. You know what I mean? In case she's wondering what she can buy. Here we go. Examples of what Sarah Rodriguez, the current lieutenant governor and still candidate for governor of Wisconsin, can buy with the $34,000 cash on hand. She can buy she can get a new Toyota Corolla, but not the fancy one. She can only get an LE. She can buy a new Honda Civic Sport, a new Mazda CX-30. Oh, she can get a lightly used Ford F-150. I can see her riding around in a Ford F-150 with $34K written on the door. She can put a down payment on a $170,000 house. That's 20% down. She can buy a small vacant residential lot with her $34,000 cash on hand. She cannot run as a successful candidate for governor, but I'm just giving her a few other ideas and suggestions of what she can do with the remaining money on hand that she has. She can pay about 1 year of tuition and fees, room and board at many public universities, so she can go to college for a single year. Or she could even get a master's degree at some public university, so she can spend that $34,000 on bettering her education. She can get a commercial truck driving trade school license. She could be an over-the-road trucker. She can launch a small food truck. It says here, a basic setup of a food truck. She can open a small retail or online business with her $34,000 cash on hand. The current lieutenant governor and still candidate for governor, Sarah Rodriguez, who only has $34,000 cash on hand, can build a professional website with branding and marketing campaigns for a startup business. So she's got options with the money. Now, obviously, none of these options are running for governor. Oh, here's one. She can make some home improvements. With her $34,000, she can install a brand new roof and siding on her home. She can remodel not one, but 2 bathrooms with that $34,000. And everybody likes a freshly remodeled bathroom. I remodeled my bathroom back in 22. It's very nice. She can install solar panels on her home and be a little bit more energy conscious, a little bit more green with her energy usage. Or she could finish her basement with that $34,000. She can buy a bass boat with a trailer. She could get a new side-by-side UTV, like one of those off-road four-wheeler vehicles that seats two people. I could see her cruising around the marshlands of Wisconsin in one of those. Hey, everybody, look at me in my UTV. I was a candidate for governor, but I decided to buy this. Vroom, vroom, vroom. She could take around 20 or 30 luxury international vacations or a month-long European vacation for two with her $30,000 cash on hand. She could buy one high-end Swiss watch, a custom engagement ring with a large diamond. Oh, here's what she should buy with her money. I'm just trying to help her out. She can buy a nice piano and write songs about how she thought she had $2 million and ended up only having $34,000, and that's why she bought the piano. A complete luxury furniture set for a home is something else. Or she could invest the money. If she got a 7% annual return on her $34,000, in 10 years, it would be $66,900. Hey, that's more money than she's got. In 20 years, she'd have $131,000. And in 30 years, she'd have just over $250,000. So she's probably better off investing that money. She could buy 6,800 meals at $5 a piece. She could go and feed many homeless. She could buy 970 tanks of gas. She could make roughly 680 grocery trips at $50 each. She could buy 34 high-end laptops costing about $1,000 each and help some Milwaukee public school children get new computers. And she could approximately buy 11 premium smartphones with her $34,000 cash on hand. So there you go. I always have suggestions and always have solutions. We are trying to help the lieutenant governor out, trying to help her spend her remaining $34,000 since you can't run a successful campaign for governor. You could buy a bass boat or a Toyota Corolla or get a bathroom remodel for your home. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Each early detection, each shortened hospital stay, each quick recovery reminds us why we serve. From first breaths to complex surgeries to rehabilitation that gets you back to your family sooner, we stand ready, quietly preparing, focused, and guided by one promise: to be fully devoted to you. Ascension, Wisconsin. Advanced care devoted to you.
I'm Chris Jackamick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is "My job is people, everyone is my business." But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jackamick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative, and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
In the United States, a vehicle is stolen every 31 seconds, about as long as this message. Luckily, you can take a few easy steps to protect your car in the same amount of time. Remove your valuables, roll up your windows, don't leave your car running unattended, lock your doors, and take your keys or fob. If you have information about a crime, call the police. If you suspect insurance fraud, also call 800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game, We gotta make moves and make them early. Set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up and stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. Pre-game to greater things.
Start building your retirement plan at thisispretirement.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The latest highly anticipated fundraising numbers are in ahead of the August 11th primary for governor in the state of Wisconsin. The reports follow the bombshell announcement from Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez's campaign, firing her campaign manager for financial mismanagement and previously filing inaccurate finance reports. Let me be clear. Sarah Rodriguez, Lieutenant Governor, who is a candidate for governor, had to sign off and review those documents, meaning the buck stops with her, so she knew. That's why it's disgusting to me that she threw her campaign manager under the bus. Now I'm just waiting for Sarah Rodriguez to do the right thing and drop out. But endorse nobody. Don't nobody want that endorsement. That endorsement is dirty. Yuck. Ain't that crazy? David Crowley gets out the race, endorses Sarah Rodriguez, and then Sarah Rodriguez going to have to drop out of the race too? Oh, our politics are so incredibly fragmented, but let me just also use this as a beautiful example. And the town called in and he was asking, well, what's the plan? What's the strategy? There really isn't one. Because if we leave the candidates to their own devices, this is what they're going to do, because the Democratic Party in the state of Wisconsin, it is weak. This is an example of when your party is weak and is not cohesive and you have a whole bunch of different candidates trying to put together their own campaigns and their own strategies because they don't really know what to do in the Trump era. There's something that I think most of these candidates do understand, is that you don't have to be specific in catering to the wants, needs, and wishes of the African-American community. You don't have to do that. So that's one thing that they all have some agreement on, which is okay, because then it falls on us. We have to put together a strategy, and we have to get involved in this game as a unit, as a group of voters, and as a special interest group that has specific political needs. So I'm not mad at them, because if we are not setting anything forward, then why would they cater to us? Every other interest group approaches the candidates, every other interest group except for us, but don't worry, I got a strategy for that. But this also explains why someone like Francesca Hahn can perform so well. She's a Democratic socialist. She is not a Democrat. But when the Democratic Party itself is weak, she can run as a Democrat and be a Democratic socialist, because the party is very, very weak. With Donald Trump being president and the huge loss in 2024, Democrats don't know what works. They don't know what sticks. Yeah, you can talk about affordability, but what really can they do when affordability is a national crisis? What really can Democrats in the state of Wisconsin do about the cost of gas in Wisconsin? Almost nothing. What can they do about Donald Trump's tariffs that's making everything more expensive? What can they do as governor of the state of Wisconsin to stop the smoke in the air? It's smoke in the air from the Canada fire. I think the wind is going to shift, though, in the next 24 hours, and then it's not going to be smoky anymore. But in the grand scheme of things, Democrats don't know what to run on. We have an anti-affirmative action, anti-DEI political and social climate. They don't want to run on that. It's a referendum on the ballot in November, making permanent, removing DEI and affirmative action from damn near everything in the state. They don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about the Wisconsin State Supreme Court that voted 7-0 to end a minority scholarship. And it wasn't even a big scholarship. It's only $2,500. Tell you what, Sarah Rodriguez, with your $34,000, why don't you give your $34,000 to some black people so they can go to college? Pay somebody's tuition. The party is in shambles, but we don't have to be. And I came up with a strategy. And the more I discuss the strategy with other people, the more they seem to understand, because this is not a moment to be emotional. This is a moment to utilize the impact of the African American community's vote. If they're not going to come chase it, well, then we will offer it. And we can show our relative political strength, because we can take one of these candidates that likely would not advance. And if they advance on the strength of our vote, then we have made an ally. And let me also say this, because I think it needs to be said. A black candidate getting elected governor in a state that is 80% white is going to have to spend all of their time helping and catering to white people. They won't even give them the political breadth to be able to address issues in the black community. I need you to understand this. If a black candidate gets elected statewide in a majority white state, that is who they're going to represent. If a white candidate gets elected in the state of Wisconsin that is to some extent beholden to black voters, because black voters put them over the top, a white candidate that becomes a governor that gets put in a position of power can do more for black people than a black candidate can. Because the black candidate will be typecast, generalized, and stereotyped of doing too much for black people anyway, meaning they have to be covert about everything they do for black people, meaning I can help you blacks, but I got to do it on the slide. Where a white candidate that has the ability to negotiate with Republicans can actually do a hell of a lot more. The civil rights legislation that was signed in this country, I mean, all of it was signed by white presidents. Barack Obama couldn't have signed no civil rights legislation. White folks would have had an absolute fit. So our power comes through our ability to be able to influence an election like a special interest group. Now, I know some of y'all want the inverse to be true. I want a black governor of an 80% white state, and they're going to do everything for black people. Literally impossible. That is fantasy land. We'll talk more about that in hour 2. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
At Milwaukee College Prep, we believe brilliance lives in every child. Here, students are challenged, supported, and celebrated every single day. With small class sizes, dedicated teachers, and a proven track record of academic excellence, MCP is helping Milwaukee kids reach their fullest potential. Enrollment is still open for grades K-3 through 8. Spaces are limited. Apply today. Give your child a school where they'll thrive. Visit mkeprep.com or call today. Milwaukee College Prep, brilliance lives here.
Natural gas is a clean, reliable, and convenient source of energy delivered directly to you through underground pipelines. The pipeline system has an excellent safety record, but there are clues that can help you identify a potential hazard. If you smell the strong odor of rotten eggs, hear an unusual hissing sound, or see blowing dirt or debris, it could be a natural gas leak. Leave the area immediately and call We Energies at 800-261-5325.
We Energies. People you can trust. Energy you can depend on.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
For 250 years, our armed forces have bravely served America. Wounded Warrior Project honors that legacy by supporting post-9/11 service members and veterans like Anthony, a Marine who was injured by a roadside bomb in Afghanistan.
They carried me through my injuries, not just my physical, but my mental. And seeing other vets doing the same thing helped me tell myself, hey, you can do this.
Join us in honoring warriors at woundedwarriorproject.org/America.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, walk them, pet them, and care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture or 50. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that. but you can adopt one. There are millions of pets waiting for a best friend just like you. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Milwaukee Black Talk lives here on 1017 FM and 1510 AM, W269DL Milwaukee, and WGKB Waukesha.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Dream of a land my soul is from.
Welcome to hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Somebody said a classic Milwaukee rib session on Sarah Rodriguez. All this mess, all this hoopla, all this publicity to have $34,000 cash on hand. That's now I would suspect some money went missing, because you would know if you only have $34,000. And as a candidate, if you don't know, then we shouldn't trust you in crafting an $80 billion budget. And I don't want people to think it's personal. I'm actually having fun with the whole idea, because when you think about it, it's utterly ridiculous. And I know that people take this personal, and I hope that David Crowley doesn't take anything that I say personal. He ran a crappy campaign. He was not himself. The best thing about David Crowley is literally who he is, his unfiltered, shining personality. And I saw that muted on the campaign trail to try and promote himself to people that might be intimidated by who he really is. And if you have to do that, if you have to mute your shine to make yourself more appealing to other people, that's not a position you would ever be happy in. It isn't. I like him as county executive. I think that he can do a lot of good right here, and we need a lot of good to be done. I think being on the stage of being the #1 champion and cheerleader and the executive for the state of Wisconsin, I don't think that that is for an African American. It just isn't. This is their state. We occupy it too. We pay taxes too. We spend money too. We are the workers and the laborers and the producers here in Wisconsin, but it's still their state. And I don't believe that an African American who is black and grown up and raised in our culture and in our traditions and in our history would be a good representative for rural white farmers. I just don't see the fit. Now, there are some people that have like a universal kind of appeal. They can, in fact, represent many different constituents. But at some point, there would be decisions that you would have to make where you would have to sacrifice resources and opportunity for the smaller constituency of African Americans in Wisconsin in favor of the larger constituency, which is overwhelmingly white and old. And I would never want to be in that situation. Running for office is not always about making a difference. It's about catering to the majority. And if you, your people, and your culture are not reflected in that majority, then you will be catering to other people. And that's very hard to do. The press conferences that you would have to give, the ribbon cuttings you would have to go to in Manitowoc and Marathon County and Spooner and Rice Lake and Vilas County and Woodruff. Who wants to do that? Yuck. You have to spend so much time away from Milwaukee, and I would argue that Milwaukee needs more time and attention than probably any other place in the state. Going and talking to constituents and voters in a Calumet County town hall where 9 people show up, 9 people. Imagine traveling, because Wisconsin is not small. It's a big state. They're probably about, I don't know, from Milwaukee to Lake Superior, probably take you a good 5 hours. That's not small. And imagine you travel all the way across the state to go to the Iron County Democratic Party monthly meeting because you want to showcase your campaign to them. You travel all the way from Milwaukee. And you get there and it's 4 people there. And they're like, this is the best turnout that we've had all year. And it's 4 people. You drove for more hours than there are people. And then you turn right around and you go right back home. Ain't no way. Oh, I told you guys I was going to give you the categories that they got to spend money on. Because I want everybody to be a little bit more well-versed on how expensive a political campaign is. And so the categories that I'm going to list, Sarah Rodriguez can't afford any of them. She's going to stay in the race so she can continue to raise money to pay off her debt. So any money that someone gives her is not to help her become governor. It's so that she doesn't have to pay out of her pocket her campaign expenses that she was, for whatever reason, was unable to raise enough money to satisfy. That's ugly, ugly work. Imagine being on the phone with somebody saying, hey, hi, this is Sarah. Yeah, I'm still in the race for governor. Can you write me a check for $10,000 because I have a whole bunch of debt? None of the money that you're going to give me is actually going to help me provide messaging and talk about my campaign in the state of Wisconsin. I just need this money so I don't put all this debt on my credit card. That's an embarrassing call to make. And plus, if you are a donor, because she raised $500,000 apparently, imagine if you're one of those people that gave her 6-month total that she raised apparently of $550,000. You're real mad right now because you're wondering, where my money at? What did you do with my money? Did you really buy a Toyota Camry? Did you remodel 2 bathrooms? Did you start a food truck? And those are all things that she can do with the money she has on hand. A food truck wouldn't be a bad idea, though. I would love a food truck. I'd park it somewhere. I'd serve the hungry customers. And then I would drive it home. And then I would just go back to another corner. It's kind of prostituting. You just work in the corner, selling deliciousness.
A watermelon food truck? Fried watermelon?
No, you don't do nothing to the watermelon. And that watermelon that Zach gave me yesterday, don't put anything on watermelon. If you put salt or tahini on watermelon, I think that should be a misdemeanor. Don't do that. Why would you want to alter the taste of the fruits? First of all, we can't be eating the fruits and the vegetables right now because it'll give you the poops. They say that we're behind, like, it's a 6-week or something reporting lag between the contaminated, we think it's produce, but there's a 6-week lag from when someone is exposed to when that information becomes public. Thank Donald Trump for gutting the CDC.
RFK, you mean?
It ain't even him. He's got to work with the budget that he is given. Most of the federal government's budget for really important things like, controlling foodborne illness has all been put in immigration enforcement. That's where a lot of those resources are going. Now, we have a bunch of states that are doing their own analysis and they're trying to figure out. They think that a common bond or a common food item is lettuce. Because lettuce is always very easy to blame because Americans, I don't know if you know this, we eat a lot of lettuce, a ton of it. Taco Bell said we're not serving lettuce at all no more until this thing gets rectified. Here's the other hard part. So let's say, and it's only been, I don't know, a few dozen cases where people are actually, that's not funny. But imagine you got the poop so bad, you got to go to the hospital. That's not a fun afternoon. Like, hi, can I see a doctor, please, very quickly? Sir, what seems to be the matter? If you keep me waiting here, I'll show you. I need to. Too late. That's not fun. Here's the difficult part. So someone may have been exposed to whatever this foodborne illness is 2 weeks ago. And so they're going to ask you, hey, what did you eat 2 weeks ago Thursday? You don't know what you ate 2 weeks ago Thursday. Here, watch this. What did y'all have for lunch on Monday? See there, I don't know what I had for lunch on Monday. I'm assuming I had lunch on Monday, but I can't tell you what I had. So in order to be able to accurately trace and track whatever food supply in America is contaminated with the poop virus, people have got to recall what they ate several weeks ago, and you do a comparison with those foods amongst the other answers given by other people. But nobody writes down what they eat. Did you guys do this in elementary school where you were asked to track your food and it was like a unit in school where you had to do a food diary? Was it just us at Brown Deer? I think we did it in middle school and in elementary school where we had a little booklet and we wrote down everything that we ate and we discussed it in class. Did any of y'all ever do this? I'm not the only one. Am I? And I remember I wanted to take it seriously. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm not telling them that I ate another candy bar. I'm not writing that down. So I would only write down what I thought was healthy. I had 1.5 apple slices, and then I had a granola bar, and then I had 3.2 ounces of water. That's not at all what I ate. I was not the only one. Xavier, did you have to write down a food diary and like for health class or for some nutrition class? Did you have that experience in school?
Honestly, I can barely remember middle school.
Really? You're one of those?
Yeah.
Oh.
I can barely remember. Only thing I remember from elementary school was me DDTing someone in the wood chips and putting another person in the pedigree. Wrestling moves.
You're a menace.
I'm just saying.
I can remember a specific day going back to 4K, and I can remember every one of my teachers' names from kindergarten through middle school, and I can even name most of the teachers that I had in high school still to this day, and I graduated from high school 33 years ago. My memory is weird.
Yeah.
The stuff that I remember is shocking. But then there's a whole bunch of stuff I probably have forgotten more than I remember, but then I'll run into somebody that I haven't seen in I don't know how many years. But they'll remember something that I said or I did. They'll remember an experience they had with me that I have no recollection of whatsoever. So I've got an incredible long-term memory. The short-term, spotty. Somebody will ask me over the weekend, like, oh, hey, Sherwin, what did you talk about this week on your radio show? No idea. I don't know, a bunch of stuff. Sarah Rodriguez buying a bass fishing boat with her $34,000. That's about it. Oh, Sherwin, what did you have for lunch on Tuesday? I don't know. I don't remember that. But I can tell you that my kindergarten teacher's name was Miss Warfel. She's probably very dead now. Most of my teachers are probably dead.
That's crazy. The only teacher I remember is Mr. Sanders because he's the only black teacher I've ever had.
I had a couple of those. I had a couple black professors at UW Milwaukee.
Well, I had black professors. I'm talking about elementary and high school and stuff.
Yeah, I remember because you sit in the damn classroom with them for half of a year. So because I have had so much exposure to my teachers, some were good, some were bad. I had few teachers that were in the middle. Some were very, very good. Some were bad. But I remember in my early years, teachers used to teach for 40 years. Now that they hate your kids so much, they're done after 20 or 25 years. They're taking early retirement because they hate the kids very much a lot. So you got to keep in mind. So I started kindergarten in 1980. And Miss Warfel was not young because I always compare my teachers to my mother's age because my mother was always the example of old. And if a teacher was dramatically older than my mother, this would be very memorable for me because I would do a comparison like, oh, this teacher was older than my mother. But then my mother would say, Sherwin, you got an old-ass teacher. I'm like, oh, okay. That tracks. But if I had a teacher that had been teaching, let's say, for 30 years when I was in elementary school, then she probably started teaching just after World War II. That's crazy. Like, in my lifetime, I probably had educators that were teaching before the schools were even integrated. Now, all of a sudden, here come all these black kids. And that teacher could legitimately say, I can remember when you little blacks were not even in our classroom. I remember FDR. I was going to tell you guys the categories of campaign expenditures. I'll do that next. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. I guess I should give out my social media. I think on Instagram it's Mr. Sherwin Hughes. Twitter, Sherwin again. You guys aren't writing this down anyway. My YouTube channel is Hughes Views 414. Subscribe to that. I'm 2 away from having 700 people. So it's 2 people subscribe, and I would give you a prize, but I'm not going to give you anything. The satisfaction of being my 700 YouTube subscriber should be reward enough. So make sure you sign up for that. What else? I got an OnlyFans.
Oh, yeah?
Yo, calm down. Why are you getting so excited?
I don't know. Just seems like a funny thing.
No, I ain't showing no tallywhacker on OnlyFans. It was $9.99 a month to see my tallywhacker? That's insane to me. That's not enough money.
You get 1,000 people to join, $10,000 a month.
I look at the individual costs. Because when you think about it, there are some women that I actually would love to see naked. Like, I don't want to meet them or talk to them or go through all that it takes to see them naked. But if I can pay $7.99 to see you naked, I got $8.
Yeah.
I went to Dairy Queen yesterday and spent $8 on a Sunday.
You know, I think we should destigmatize sex work.
It's not stigmatized with me.
It's not stigmatizing me, but a lot of people, she has an OnlyFans. She's not going to have a future.
True.
Nah.
True.
Not if I'm hiring.
You're not hiring. So,
we'll
and
see.
what would you hire them for? Exactly.
You know, secretary.
People in the internet generation have no concept of what forever is. They think, oh, this is a good idea right now. I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to make a bunch of money right now. Your right now looks a lot different than 20 plus years from now. Just like these tattoos that y'all are getting. Some of y'all are stupid. Stupid. When is a face tattoo ever going to be a good idea? I want the world, when they look at my face, to see permanent writing on it. What? Have y'all ever thought about just like making an autobiography and like instead of it displaying your life in pictures on your body, just write it down. Write it down in a book. Do a little journaling. Just do a diary. There was a girl that I had been interested in for many, many years. I worked with her when I was on the Basement Crew on 98.3. So this is, hell, I started there in 07, almost 20 years ago. So she was a salesperson. So I didn't see her very often. In fact, when we came in and did our show, she would be leaving for the day. Very prim and very proper. She was a very professional lady. Whole back was covered with a tattoo. Because she had none on her arms, none on her legs, but her whole back was like, it was the Garden of Eden. Oh, it's beautiful.
My kind of woman.
I'm sure she is. You like tatted up women, don't you? Well, nowadays you don't have a choice.
Well, I mean, there's some women that aren't super tatted up, but a lot of women that I deal with, they happen to have tattoos. I have none.
The one you got now is tatted.
Yeah.
You okay with that?
Yeah, I'm more than okay with it. You know, tattoos are very, hot sometimes in certain places.
What places?
It all depends. I like a nice chest piece, between the breastplate and, a nice little tramp stamp sometimes.
Oh, good Lord.
Those little artsy tattoos. They're very hot sometimes, I don't discriminate.
For a democratic, socialist, communist, liberal, lefty, liberal, progressive, I know you're not all those things, but you're most of them. You're quite misogynistic.
No.
You don't think so?
No,
I love objectify women better than me. I learned from you, actually.
I love women. All them. You know how many women?
The best objectifiers love women too.
Oh no. I have so many women friends. They would say I'm a great ally.
And a racist has black friends. You ain't saying nothing slick to a can of oil, buddy.
I'm just saying.
All right, let's take a break. Come back. Talk about the different categories that political campaigns have got to spend money on. So when you hear that a candidate has raised several $1 million, I'm going to show you exactly where those dollars go. But not Sarah Rodriguez. She can just get a food truck, a bass boat, and some solar panels. But she can't be governor. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Are you looking for a place to shop that offers a fair market price? Or how about a place that is clean with a friendly atmosphere, has been recently remodeled? You need to visit Century Food Store on 92nd and Lisbon Avenue. They offer a wide variety of grocery items, meats, and fresh vegetables at a fair market price. And don't forget the hot food section, which offers soul food, Indian, and Mexican foods. So what you waiting for? You can also order groceries through DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Instacart, or stop by Century Foods at 92nd and Lisbon Avenue today.
Reading aloud to children sharpens their listening skills, expands their vocabularies, and nurtures a lifelong love of reading. That's why Reading is Fundamental, the nation's leading children's literacy nonprofit, offers free monthly read-alouds by popular authors through its Rally to Read program. Visit rallytoread.org to watch the read-alouds and discover exciting reading activities for school and home. Visit rallytoread.org today.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
At 10:30, we're going to be talking to Keaton Kloss. She's the executive director of the Milton House. Did you know that we've got history right here in Wisconsin? There's an Underground Railroad stop, and you can take a tour of it. We're going to be talking to Keaton Kloss. I got to clean this show up a little bit.
Why? What's wrong?
Because whenever you got company, you got to be on your best behavior. We over here getting wild, talking about OnlyFans accounts and stuff. I have a level of class and sophistication I like to carry myself with, and I also want to pride myself on putting together a radio show that is going to be evergreen. It will stand the test of time, whether someone is listening to it live or they catch it later on this evening or in 10 years. I want what we talk about to be relevant and timely for many, many years to come. So we're going to talk about the Milton House. Stop on the Underground Railroad because slaves came to Wisconsin. Some kept going. Some stayed. So talk about the Milton House, and you can go take a tour. They have an event coming up in August as well. You can do stuff, take a tour of some history. A modern Wisconsin gubernatorial primary is one of the most expensive statewide campaigns in the Midwest. The exact mix varies by candidate, but campaigns typically spend between 55 and 70% of their budget on voter communication, which includes television, digital advertising, mail, and radio, with the remainder devoted to staffing, field operations, fundraising, polling, travel, compliance, and overhead. As of July 2026, the remaining Democratic candidates running for governor in the state of Wisconsin are Mandela Barnes. They have David Crowley listed. Hell, David Crowley might as well jump back in. He got plenty of money. Joel Brennan, Francesca Hong, Kelda Royce. And then it says Sarah Rodriguez, though her campaign has recently reported significant financial problems after discovering inaccurate campaign finance records. A reasonable budget for a competitive $4 million statewide Democratic primary campaign, roughly the level needed to remain competitive in Wisconsin's major media markets. To be competitive, candidates need to spend about 28% of their budget on television advertising, which is $1.1 million. They need to spend another 12% on digital advertising, which includes YouTube, Facebook, and Google. That is $480,000. They need to spend about 10% of their budget on direct mail to voters, $400,000. Campaign staff salaries is only 13% of the budget, but it's $520,000. Payroll taxes and benefits is another $80,000. Polling and research, which is only 3% of the campaign's budget, that's still $120,000. You got to pay media consultants $160,000, general consultants $120,000, fundraising consultants $80,000, field organizers and canvassers, you know, the people that are wearing the T-shirts, they're out in the community knocking on doors and whatnot, $200,000. Text messaging and phone programs. I hate getting text messages from candidates. I hate it. Because then when you say, you type in stop to end, it stops from that candidate. But then the next candidate. Campaigns pay $80,000 for those text messages. The voter file, which is the list of voters, like who you should be corresponding with, who you should be sending direct mail to, and who you should be targeting with your digital ads, that costs $40,000. Printing, literature, yard signs, and little palm cards, that's another $80,000. Yard signs, $40,000. Campaign office rent and utilities, you got to have a campaign office, that's $40,000. Hotels and lodging for your staff as you're making different campaign stops and tours throughout the state, $40,000. Candidate events, another $60,000. Photography and video production. You got to do video shoots. You got to take a whole bunch of photographs so you can put nice pictures on your campaign literature. Photographers make $60,000. Xavier, you should think about being a photographer for one of these campaigns. You can make you a cool $60K in a short period of time, but you're not going to get it from Sarah Rodriguez. You can only take pictures of her posing on her bass boat.
I'm available, Fran.
Oh, Franny, she'd hire you. She got good money, too. Legal and compliance, $40,000. Accounting and bookkeeping, which is only 0.5% of campaign expenditures, that's still $20,000. Sarah Rodriguez probably didn't spend enough money on the accounting and the bookkeeping. Because I mentioned earlier in the week, your campaign manager should not have a whole hell of a lot to do with your campaign finance reporting. You literally hire an accounting firm because it's very complicated. You got to make sure that everything is right. All the entries have got to be correct and they have to be timely, et cetera, et cetera. So you want to hire a firm that specializes in accounting, not your campaign manager that owes $8,000 in rent that has financial troubles of her own. That's not a good person to manage your money. And then when the books are opened up, Sarah Rodriguez throws the campaign manager under the bus, even though Sarah Rodriguez had to sign off on all of that, all of those numbers. All right, I'm take a break, come back. Keaton is her name. Keaton Kloss. That's her last name? That's what we're going to interview her. She's from the Milton House. She's going to tell us many. Is she in there right now?
Yeah, she's waiting to come in the room.
Oh, hi, Keaton. Is she
she's not in the room with me. She's in the hallway.
All right. We're going to bring her in and talk about the Underground Railroad. I once had a conversation with somebody that thought the Underground Railroad was actually a railroad, like with a train on it. They didn't. They thought it was a subway. It was a white guy. He's like, Sherwin, how did they have subways way back in the day? I'm like, Subway restaurants? He's like, no, the Underground Railroad. How did they build it? And that's when I knew that history is failing our children. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Mommy, can I sit in the front seat just this one time? Please, please, please.
No, not yet.
But why?
Because I love you, and you're just not ready yet. Now, get in the back so I can get you in your car seat, please.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love. Check that your kids are in the right seat at NHTSA.gov/the right seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
For 250 years, our armed forces have bravely served America. Wounded Warrior Project honors that legacy by supporting post-9/11 service members and veterans like Anthony, a Marine who was injured by a roadside bomb in Afghanistan.
They carried me through my injuries, not just my physical, but my mental. And seeing other vets doing the same thing helped me tell myself, hey, you can do this.
Join us in honoring warriors at woundedwarriorproject.org/America.
In the United States, a vehicle is stolen every 31 seconds, about as long as this message. Luckily, you can take a few easy steps to protect your car in the same amount of time. Remove your valuables, roll up your windows, don't leave your car running unattended, lock your doors, and take your keys or fob. If you have information about a crime, call the police. If you suspect insurance fraud, also call 800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
As promised, Keaton Kloss is in the studio. She's the executive director of the Milton House. Ladies and gentlemen, did you know that we have historical sites right here in Wisconsin? You don't have to travel far away. You can go to Janesville and visit the Milton House. First of all, Keaton, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us about this historic site that we have in Janesville called the Milton House and what it represents in history.
Sure, yeah. The Milton House Museum is obviously a historic house museum in Milton, Wisconsin, which is just a few minutes north of Janesville. And we are Wisconsin's only certified Underground Railroad site that is open to the public. So we are not the only one. Actually, here Milwaukee has quite a bit of Underground Railroad sites with Joshua Glover and Racine. But those sites now are like a plaque to the building he was held in, or the other sites are privately owned, like churches or houses. So we are the only one that the public can come and tour and walk in the footsteps of freedom seekers and learn about this really incredible part of American history that a lot of people don't realize Wisconsin even had a part in.
Do you find that to be true, that a lot of folks, maybe even that live in cities and towns that were prominent stops on the Underground Railroad, they don't even know anything about it?
It is a little unnerving as a historian, I guess, what people do or do not know or believe about the Underground Railroad. So, yes, it's definitely an education just on the Underground Railroad in general for the majority of visitors that are coming to us.
The original founders, Joseph and Nancy Goodrich, were originally from New York. The Goodriches were devout Seventh-day Baptists.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, they were known for 1, 2, 3 different things. They celebrated the Sabbath on Saturday. They were believers in the temperance movement, so they didn't drink.
Nope, no drinking, no gambling, no smoking.
It's not a fun life, but at least they wanted to help slaves to freedom. And then they were also ardent abolitionists. Are there like details about the lives of the Goodrich family on display at the Milton House?
Yes. So Joseph, he does come from New York. He comes here with his wife, his 2 kids, and about 9 other people. They are Seventh-day Baptists, and they are still a religion today. Their world headquarters is actually in Janesville, Wisconsin today still. But they kind of refer themselves as the black sheep even of the Baptist organization. And one of the reasons was because they allowed black people to be part of their religion as early as like the 1700s. And so you could not be a Seventh-day Baptist at that time and not be, you couldn't just say slavery was bad. You had to be actively doing something to stop it. And so Joseph comes to the Milton area and actually founds the town of Milton, and he immediately starts a Seventh-day Baptist church, builds Milton House as a stagecoach inn in 1844, and then also founds Milton College or Milton Academy, which was a college that ran in Milton until 1982. And he used that college to also pass out his abolitionist views and beliefs through speakers like Sojourner Truth comes and talks there, and the professors and stuff like that. So he was definitely doing his part along with running a stop on the Underground Railroad.
Keaton Kloss is my in-studio guest. She is the executive director of the Milton House located in Janesville. Keaton, I know a little bit of history, too. I know that the local newspaper in Waukesha is called the Freeman.
Mm-hmm.
And it was called the Freeman because Waukesha at the time was a very anti-slavery abolitionist bastion, but a reason why they titled their paper, still to this day called the Freeman, by the way, is because they thought the Milwaukee Journal was too pro-slavery. Talk about a little bit of irony, but history is full of ironic facts. Keaton, people can tour the Milton House. How can they go about doing that, or what are some of the things that they will see on that tour?
Yeah, we are open right now in the summer. We're open 6 days a week. The only day we're closed is Monday, so Tuesday through Sunday, 10 to 4. We have tours every hour on the hour. They last about an hour. They're handicap accessible. Thankfully, we have air conditioning, so it's a comfortable tour. On the tour, you learn about Joseph and the founding of Milton and kind of a little bit of background about the community, because that's really important to why the Underground Railroad site was there. And then you obviously learn about the Underground Railroad. Probably the big thing people know about us is that we do have an actual underground passage that was used to move freedom seekers just between buildings on our property. I get a lot of questions asking, so where do I buy my train ticket? So I have to explain.
That's a real thing, isn't it?
That's a very real thing. I say one of my first days working at the museum, this lady walked in and wanted a tour, and I said, okay, let's do that. And she goes, well, where do I buy my train ticket? And I laughed because I thought she was joking, and then she kind of just looked at me, and then she's like, well, but if I leave my stuff here, will like the train bring me back here? How does this work? And so there is a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of education that needs to happen on what the Underground Railroad was. And so, yes, it is a real thing, and it's something that we work hard to, so I have to explain to people. It says our passage it's about 45 feet long. It just goes between 2 buildings, and it was used to move people between those buildings secretively. But we are one of the few in the country that has kind of an underground passage. Again, people think it's an actual railroad and that it's physically underground. A lot of places just use their houses or their barns or their churches. They didn't have special rooms and tunnels. These were everyday people just using what they had to help people on their journey to freedom.
I was just remarking to my producer that I had a very similar experience with an individual that thought that the Underground Railroad was like an actual subway, underground infrastructure. I'm saying to myself, first of all, why would you think that? And I don't want to be mean to someone who was uninformed, but that's the reason why we have the Milton House, so people can become much more informed. But I'm thinking to myself, if you want to keep the whole Underground Railroad a secret, you can't be digging subway tunnels because that would kind of blow your cover. The good news is you average 4,000 school children a year, and this is a fantastic education for them because they get to tangibly see not just the structure, not just the building, but even that underground passage. So talk about how schools are welcome to do field trips at the Milton House.
Yeah, so we do between, really February with being Black History Month, we're seeing more and more schools kind of take advantage of that and how it fits into their curriculum. So really from about February through, early June, depending on how schools run, we have school kids predominantly about 4th grade because that's when they're learning Wisconsin history, but we get kids all the way up through college, pretty young. And so they can come for a tour. And like I said, it's similar to what we offer the general public, but they get to learn about Joseph Goodrich and the founding of Milton. And for especially fourth graders, we give them an introduction into what slavery was, a little bit of Civil War background, talk to them about Underground Railroad history, and just try and help them understand, like I said, this important part of American history, which I was just talking with some other museum professionals the other day, and we were talking about how we just don't give kids enough credit for what they can understand and what they want to learn. And it is incredible what even fourth graders can comprehend about this and the thoughts and ideas and things that can really start them thinking on. And so tours are a fantastic way. We also are in the process of developing virtual tours because obviously not every school kid can come see us, whether it's, trying to get busing or they're too far away, or we have a capacity in our building as well. And so we're really hoping with these virtual tours that are going to be interactive that, even kids that can't come to us physically are going to have that opportunity for education. And then every May, we have our Civil War Day Living History event, and our Friday is a school day. This year, we had close to 1,500 school kids come, Northern Illinois, local kids, homeschool, parochial, public, and they just get an opportunity to go through about 25 stations and learn all about life during the Civil War. And we have a fantastic Lincoln reenactor, and so we want to have as many opportunities for kids to come and experience history because there are studies that show that when kids learn that this stuff is happening in their backyard, it's going to be more impactful for them.
There's a sensitivity that exists about teaching children about slavery because there might be an assumption that they will feel a level of guilt, and I don't believe that education does that. I think we have a duty to inform children, and yes, they can handle it. Yes, they can take it, and they will be much better prepared for the world if they know the history that has transpired. And Wisconsin played a very prominent role in the Civil War. In fact, Camp Randall. Where the Madison football players do the footballing. Mm-hmm. That was a very prominent fort in the Civil War. Mm-hmm. Looks like you got some events. Arts and Crafts on the Lawn every third Sunday or the third Sunday in August. Can you tell us about Arts and Crafts on the Lawn?
That one must be outdated. I'm sorry. We haven't had that one for a while.
All right. Well, there you go. You can bring it back.
Yeah. So, but we're summer. We don't have as many events, but coming up in the fall now we have September. We have our Twilight Tours, which is one of our long-standing, really popular events because you get to be in the house after dark. And people like to be in historic houses after dark. So that's coming up. And then we do have we have like a paranormal investigation in October. If you're into ghost hunting, you can come do that with us. And then, for Christmas, we have some other events as well. And it's just, we have our popular Hops and History Talk as well. That is happening in October and September and October. And it is something that we partner with a local brewery, and we go hang out in their tap room, and we talk history, and you drink beer, and it's a really fun time. So those events are going to be happening as well. And then our big one is our signature event. It's our first year doing it. It's going to happen September 26th at the Janesville Performing Arts Center, and we are bringing the Fisk Jubilee Singers from Fisk University in Nashville, Tennessee. And if you don't know who they are, Fisk University was founded right after the Civil War. And for formerly enslaved people to get an education. And in 1871, they were having extreme financial trouble. So basically, they put together some students who sang Negro spirituals, and they started touring around the country, even went over to England and performed for Queen Victoria, raised enough money to save their school, and they have been doing it ever since. And they won a Grammy in 2020. And they are going to be coming up here and performing along with an opening act by Kothi Dance Company of Milwaukee. And so we're so excited to bring this level of talent to Wisconsin, to Janesville, and all the proceeds from the event are going to support the Milton House. We are a nonprofit. We're not state, city, federally funded. It's all through events, tours, donations. And so we're really excited about this one.
Keaton Kloss, Executive Director of the Milton House, located at 18 South Janesville Street in Milton, Wisconsin. They can be reached via phone at 608-868-7772. That is 608-868-7772. And also, I'm assuming that admissions prices are probably pretty reasonable, right?
Yeah, I think it's this is always a quiz for me. I think it's $20 for adults, and then we have discounts for seniors and kids. Kids 5 and under can come for free. If you bring a group of 10 or more people to do a group tour, you get some discounted rates. All of that can be found on our website at miltonhouse.org. If you're a veteran, you can get in for free. If you become a member, you can get in for free. And yes, we do. We like I said, tour revenue is a way that revenue stream for us, but we want to make this as accessible to people as we can. We want to eliminate as many barriers as we can. So we try and keep our prices as reasonable as possible.
Thank you, Keaton. We appreciate you coming here and telling us about the Milton House.
Thank you.
You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I'm Chris Jackamick. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is "My job is people, everyone is my business." But unfortunately, in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jackamick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot fast and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
'Cause remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game. We gotta make moves and make them early. Set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up and stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. Pre-game to greater things.
Start building your retirement plan at thisispretirement.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative, and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day, when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
As I read the YouTube comments, I can't make heads or tails of them. Sometimes I wonder what my radio show is even about, because I'm expecting to hear, discussion or read commentary about what I'm discussing. First of all, I need you to not take over my show in the YouTube chat, Reginald Jones. Nobody care about you going to Yugoslavia. We're not even talking about Yugoslavia. Talking about Sarah Rodriguez buying a boat. She's a lieutenant governor. If she hasn't raised enough money to have a viable campaign. David Crowley dropped out of the race with $300,000 and Sarah Rodriguez got $30,000. It should have been the other way around. She should have dropped out and endorsed him. I don't know if David was ready. He's going to get mad. Let him get mad. I'm just being honest. Madison is a wolf's den where they do not care about Milwaukee. There's a handful of legislators that represent Milwaukee. They care. But there are 132 legislators in total. And the vast majority of them are fighting for their cities, their towns, their counties, and their districts. And Milwaukee is an afterthought. And it's very difficult to be a governor from Milwaukee, especially as county executive, because you know what the needs are of this city, but you have to represent the rest of the state equally, meaning 80% of your representation will be for the people in the places that are not in Milwaukee. And I think that that's a real tough position for an African-American legislator to be in, because isn't there a prevailing wisdom that if you are an African-American, and maybe this has changed, I don't really know with this younger generation, but I know that if you were running for public office and you relied on the black vote like a black business relies on black dollars, then your representation will be of those people who oftentimes are not represented very well. I also don't believe that white people can do an adequate job of representing black people, especially when you have white people that think that the Underground Railroad was an actual train. Good God. And I thought I was the only one that had ever been exposed to that kind of ignorance. I am shocked every single day at how little the master race actually knows. And I use that term very lightly. If I'm not mistaken, there is no Neanderthalic DNA in the blood of an African or an African American. I need you to think about that. Neanderthals just died out because they weren't equipped to make it. We don't have any of their DNA in us. They have Neanderthalic DNA in them, so it's not exactly an ingredient that you want in your genetic makeup if you want to call yourself the master race. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to the Neanderthals, because there's a lot of humping, a lot of interbreeding, a lot of interracial humping back then, because like the Africans walked out of Africa and went to Asia, hump, 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 and then went north to Europe, hump, 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 hump. And so our DNA as black African descendants is found in every other human being. In fact, there's a common DNA, mitochondrial DNA. That's the important one, because that is the DNA that is passed from every mother to every child. And because all human beings share the same mitochondrial DNA, and this is not speculation, this is not guesswork, this was not someone that came up with this to hurt somebody's feelings. Because we all have the same mitochondrial DNA, we all have a common mother. And I know that this hurts a lot of people when I say this, but I'm not here to spare your feelings. I'm here to tell you the truth that no one ever wanted you to know, because if you knew the truth, you would have a whole different perception of history. This is why lies can literally live forever. Our mitochondrial DNA came from a very small, little 4-foot-tall being that was somewhat tree-dwelling, and it walked around a little bit, but it liked to hang out in the trees. And they actually call her Eve. And she's from the Olduvai Gorge in, yep, Africa. You all got a black mama. That's disappointing. But that's just human genetics, you know what I'm saying? The only reason why we have differences in skin color is because the further from the equator you evolve, the less direct the sunlight is. And so if you evolved in a place where the sunlight is less direct, you need less melanin, and you want to be able to produce vitamin D from that indirect sun. What melanin does is it protects you from much more direct sunlight, which we know is evident near the tropics and near the equator. So melanin acts as a protective barrier from the very intense ultraviolet rays of the sun. But the further north or further south that you go, the lighter the skin gradients get, the less melanin is necessary. That's the only difference. Vitamin D production is very important for pregnant women because that hormone is important for the health of babies. So if you evolved in a climate further away from the equator where it's colder and the sun rays are less direct, you don't need as much protective melanin in your skin because women that are in gestational periods need to produce vitamin D so they have healthy babies. That is the only difference in human skin color. We are all essentially the same. Now, we've divided ourselves into different camps and we've divided ourselves into different tribes, and sometimes we go to war, but we're all the same. Can't we all just get along and just love on each other? And can't we all collectively just work together in telling Sarah Rodriguez to get out of the race for governor because she just isn't fit to be the governor of the Wisconsin? But Kelda's not fit either. God bless Kelda. She's a very nice lady. I like my strategy and that we put our weight behind an underdog. The underdog would be Joel Brennan because we can make it abundantly clear that the African-American voter does have political influence, especially in a race like this, to determine a winner. I'm going to put Franny Pants in a separate category. Franny Pants brings up really great issues that could come to fruition in a homogeneous racial society where everybody is the same race and there is no discrimination based on race. Fran's policies are perfect for, Europe. I don't want European-style government in America. Europe, quite honestly, is the ones we need to blame for a lot of this. And I don't want to reenact that here and to think that it could potentially work. No, thank you. We've gotten enough from Europe. This damn wildfire smoke might be from Europe. When I was asking Keaton, she's from Janesville. She made the trek. She drove an hour and 25 minutes to sit here with me for 10 minutes. She could have did it over the phone, but we're glad she was here. I asked her if it was smoky in the Janesville. She said, yeah, it's smoky in the Janesville too. So it's smoky there and it's smoky here too. But right now I got to take a commercial break because my hour 3 is about to start. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
At UW-Milwaukee, students don't have to wait until college to start building their future. Roar Ready lets students K through 12th grade join in hands-on programs across campus. From science and tech to arts, sports, and more, students try new things, meet new people, and build skills that matter. Programs are led by UW-Milwaukee faculty, staff, and current students. And it's easy to register online. Get started today at uwm.edu/roarready. UW-Milwaukee. Roar Ready. Your child's future starts here.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, walk them, pet them, and care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture or 50. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that, but you can adopt one. There are millions of pets waiting for a best friend just like you. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, though, may I ask if there are any unlocked guns in your home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome. Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. improving lives so everyone can thrive, where more people can gain access to healthcare and nutritious food for their tables, where more community members can benefit from financial education and get connected to local resources for housing support, and where children are given more chances to reach their full potential. Community is where we find our strength and where we share our hope. United is the way. Visit unitedway.org.
Are people around me safe when I vape? Science does not support that belief. Exhaled vape emissions linger in the air, affecting indoor air quality and bystanders in the same space through secondhand exposure. Vaping emissions can also accumulate on clothes, hair, dust, and furniture, leading to exposure risks to bystanders of all ages. And vaping around a pregnant person can lead to serious health impacts on fetal and childhood development. Enough with the puff. Learn more at ul.org/vaping.
Milwaukee Black Talk lives here on 101.7 FM and 1510 AM, W269DL Milwaukee, and WGKB Waukesha.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Just maybe, naughty girls need love too.
You didn't think you would hear Samantha Fox twice on my show. Naughty girls need love too. Give some love to Sarah Rodriguez because she was naughty on her campaign finance reports. Give her some love. We asked a question on the YouTube. You know, we do a daily YouTube poll because we here at 1017 The Truth have inquisitive temperaments and we love to ask you questions. I asked a very simple question today. Should Sarah Rodriguez in her campaign for governor? 28% of you say no, she should not. 72%, of course, the overwhelming majority, say that she should, in fact, in her campaign for governor. Why continue when you have a whole bunch of troubles? And the election is essentially here. The election date is August 11th. Early voting will start in the city of Milwaukee in it's got to be the week of the 27th. So within 10 days. She only has $34,000. That's enough money to start a food truck, not enough money to buy ads and do digital correspondence and hire canvassers to knock on doors. That's not enough money. Now, her problem is she has incurred something like $152,000 in campaign debt. And I believe her maximum contribution as a gubernatorial candidate is $20,000. So she still needs to raise money to retire the debt that she has. Otherwise, she's going to have one heck of a problem. But here's the tough part. If you have demonstrated some inability to manage your finances, who is going to continue to write you a check? She needs a sugar daddy donor. Maybe we should have Bob give her the money. Bob, call up if you're listening. Call, Bob. I need to ask you something. I need to talk to you real quick. Get Sarah Rodriguez out the race, have Bob write her a check, and then she'll be good to go to drop out of the race. But here's the thing. Even as a lieutenant governor, here's what's unfortunate for her. I actually feel bad for her, even though she set herself up for all of this. Her endorsement isn't worth anything, and she is a current statewide incumbent. She's the current lieutenant governor. And if she endorses somebody, it's problematic because her endorsement is not going to hold a whole heck of a lot of weight, which is terribly unfortunate. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? All right, Sierra just had to sneak in here and grab something real quick. I should have said something.
I gave her the okay. I said don't distract him.
I fought it because you know when I'm is that him? Hold on, don't get it. I get it. Hello?
Yeah, this man wanted me to call him. What does he want? This man is something else. This is Bob.
Well, you know, Bob.
Oh, that's you.
No, this is Xavier. Shut up. You know, I'm not sure what
wait a
Sherwin
minute.
wants. Can I put you,
Wait a
Bob?
minute.
Bob, can I put you on hold?
Yeah, put me. Now, wait a minute. Am I on the radio? If I'm on the radio, I'm going today to send you that $50 because I want you to pay this man his money because other people will pretend they got pop or water on the bottom of their cart and leave out because they're going to, act like you act. And, and that's thievery. And so I'm going to the store. I don't want to say the name of the store because I said it yesterday by accident, and they don't pay no money.
Why can't you say the name of the store? I'm not one of those people where you can't mention the name of us. Oh, I can't mention the other radio station. Yeah, you can. I don't care about that. Mention whatever store you want to mention. But also, Bob, we're going to need more than $50. We're going to need $150,000.
No, not wait a minute. Don't you know I'm saving up for that metal on my arm to see if I can play the sax and then find out where the restaurant that you go to that you don't want nobody to know, so I can throw all this metal at you if I don't see your teeth. I better see you smiling at all times. If you frown, this metal is coming at you.
Bob, if I ever see you at a restaurant that I frequent, I will personally take joy in removing you myself. I will pick you up, put you in my pocket, because you'll fit in my pocket, and I'm going to walk you right out. So you better hope, that we don't see each other at a restaurant while I'm trying to enjoy my meal and enjoy my company, probably the company of a very, very pretty female. I only be hanging out with pretty girls, except when JD saw me with a booger wolf, but that doesn't count. So I only hang out with very beautiful women, and I don't need you coming up to me, interrupting me. You might be messing up the thing that I have going on while I'm sitting there with that beautiful woman trying to romance her out of her pants. I don't need you coming up talking mess.
Look, long as a woman is a woman, she is not a booger wolf. Now get that out of your vocabulary, sir. She is not a booger wolf.
Bob, you brought some booger wolves here to the studio.
No, they were nice-looking women. I don't know.
Maybe for you.
No, they were nice-looking women, and, 3 times, I came and I seen Rhea.
What is it with you and Rhea? I don't even know where Rhea is, Bob.
I seen Carrie and Rhea the 3 times I came to your studio, and I want you to give them the remainder of that $50 and buy them some water.
Bob, they don't even know where Carrie and Rhea are. They don't work here no
You
damn
find them. You find them, Sherwin. They are our homies. They are our homies. You find them, and you give them that case of water. I'd appreciate it, And so, did you want to call me to beat me? Did you want me to call so you could beat me up? Or are you going to let me ease off the air? Because, see, I was going right now to get you some water. I mean, to send you that $50. And then, I was just going to cut off the phone and go. And then I heard you say, call me. I said, oh, boy.
Here, tell you what, Bob. Don't worry about sending me $50 through Western Union. How people even still use Western Union when you've got Cash App and you've got all these other ways to transfer money? So don't listen to me.
I don't know.
Don't do that. Here's what I need you to do. I need you to make a donation to Sarah Rodriguez so she can retire some of her debt so she can drop out of the race for governor. So don't give me 50. Give Sarah Rodriguez $150,000. That's what I would rather. Where you should put your money. I would rather you do that. Give it to Sarah Rodriguez.
I don't know how to do all that stuff. All I don't know how to do is call on the phone, read text, and answer the phone. I don't do all that stuff on the phone. I'm going to send you Western Union, and I'm not sending Rodriguez. I'm sending you $50 to give that man at the store the money for the water you stole.
First of all, I didn't steal nothing. You got me over here looking like I'm a thief. The only thing I steal is the occasional heart. I ain't steal no damn water. There was water on the bottom of the cart. I forgot about the water. I walked out the damn store. I forgot all about it. Ain't nobody steal nothing. I ain't got to steal nothing. I'll buy the whole damn store, Bob. I've lost more money than you've ever had.
Sherwin, that's why I'm sending you $50. Now, I'm not...
Why don't you need therapy. Why don't you take that $50 and put it towards your therapist bill? You need help. You need Jesus.
Sherwin, just be prepared, and your name is to be on there. It's Houghs.
Oh, yep, that's H. Yep, that's how you spell it. HOL693GHNT. That's it.
HOU. I just tried to do it by memory because Sherwin is easy. HOUGHS.
God.
And
how do you spell Sherwin? I'm curious. How would you spell that?
Oh, that's easy. SHERWIN. That's
okay.
easy.
And then Hughes is
HOUGHS. Correct? Correct. I'm sure it's correct. Don't start nothing, Sherwin. Now, you beat me up enough. Now, are you willing? I'm shy on this phone now. Don't be holding me on, Sherwin. I complimented you by calling, and and so now I need to compliment you by getting off the air. If you don't mind, sir, I'd appreciate it.
Bob, you can get off the phone anytime you want to.
Well, I like to get off pleasantly, not honorably. Sometimes I have to with you, because you are an honorary son of a gun. Talk to you later.
Somebody left a fan in here. Who got a fan?
That's Homer Blows.
Oh, it is. Okay. Where's his gavel? Does he take it with him every day?
I think he takes it with him. Maybe look in the drawer, possibly.
Man, don't got no drawers in here, man.
Oh, I thought there was. No, he takes it home with him every day.
We're supposed to be moving out of this studio at some point.
Yeah, that'll be hell.
I'm ready to go. These white folks here at Good Karma Brands want us gone.
Yeah. How do you feel about? Oh yeah, I guess you don't really walk out past them all after the end of the show.
I avoid them like the plague.
I like walking past them.
I don't even like looking at them. I don't speak to none of them. We're just tenants here. I don't work with them people no more.
Oh, you haven't seen your friend Craig since the departure?
I seen him once.
You guys hang out, have a drink?
I threw him a little head nod. I ain't got nothing to say to dude.
Mm.
Personally, he and I don't like each other.
I can see that.
But we don't have to.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
He and I have had some long-standing fundamental disagreements, which I mostly kept to myself. But yeah, I don't really care for dude that much.
Yeah, I guess you'll be fully unleashed after we move, huh?
I'm unleashed now.
Oh.
I just ain't got, it's not worth it to say anything about him because, he does his thing. He living his life. He and I don't see eye to eye on some fundamentals. That's all it is. I don't see eye to eye, on some things with a lot of people. Me and you don't see eye to eye on the politics.
Oh, yeah.
I know you and Nitty be in there about to fight.
No, I just like to play with people, Sometimes you got to get the emotion out of him. So when he goes onto his show, he's feeling all fired up. That's why I say things to Homer and you. They get you guys fired up to give the people what they want.
You don't get me fired up because we've already established you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Oh.
You're a victim of internet talking points. But I don't blame you.
No, you're wrong. I've had the same conviction since 2016.
A whole bunch of people have conviction. A whole bunch of people are convicted that Jesus Christ is on his way back today. And we don't take that away from them. That doesn't mean it's actually going to happen. And I admire a man that has his convictions, but when he believes his convictions are superior to that of another, well, then we got a bit of a problem.
Well, that's just the world.
I understand her appeal, and I understand where it came from. And it makes a lot of sense in American politics where the overwhelming majority of people have no idea how the system works. And if you don't know how the system works, you might be susceptible to misinformation, like thinking you can change the system with the system from within the system. It is a pipe dream that desperate and vulnerable people fall for. It's why Americans are such consumers. If I market to somebody enough, I can make you need it. I'm bald-headed, and if you marketed shampoo to me the right way, I'd buy it.
Well, all I know, the system hasn't worked for a majority of us, and something has to change, and I don't believe a milquetoast candidate will do it.
So I agree. Well, no, I disagree. The system works perfectly. It works exactly as intended, but what is the biggest psych out is someone that wants to use the system to change the system that doesn't work. So the system has built into it the tolerance for rebellion. The system has built into it someone that's angry and disaffected, and people are angry and they're going to rise up. The system can accommodate all of that. As a matter of fact, when they crafted the nation, they're like, yeah, some people are going to get mad at some point. Okay, so here are some safeguards that we have so we never have another American Revolution. But it's all fun and games. Unless you're Sarah Rodriguez and you're looking at Toyota Corollas, because that's really all she can afford with the $34,000 cash she has on hand. Actually, you know what? What else can she buy? I don't want to just limit her to Toyota Corollas. She could buy 1 year of tuition at a state college or university. She could open a small retail or online business with the $34,000 cash on hand. And let's say she doesn't want to buy a Toyota Corolla LE. She needs more room, or she wants to maybe be able to haul things. She can get a lightly used Ford F-150 with her $34,000 cash she has on hand. Or she could buy 2 decent used cars for $17,000 each, maybe one for her, another for Nitty. She could put a 20% down payment on a $170,000 home in Bayview. Right? Because I got a feeling she won't be in Madison much longer. Might want to think about moving. She could buy a small vacant residential lot in many parts of Wisconsin so she can buy a little bit of land. What else could she do? Oh, perfect. She could purchase equipment for a landscaping, cleaning, or photography business. So there you go. Just trying to give Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez a couple of options and ideas of what she can do with her $34,000 cash on hand. But running for governor is not one of the things that is on this very exhaustive list. Take a break, come back, continue talking about all of the fun things. Hey, I need one more subscriber to Hughes Views 414 so I can cross the 700 subscriber threshold. One more person. If you are my 700 subscriber, you know what I'm going to give you? Well, I'm not going to give you anything, but it'd be a very nice thing to do. So go to YouTube, search Hughes Views 414, and hit subscribe. And the next time I hit refresh, I would like to have 700 subscribers. Maybe even 701. That'd be very nice. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I'm Sherwin Hughes, and I know the power of Stars and Stripes Honor Flight firsthand. As someone who's been on an honor flight, I can tell you it's a day you'll never forget. Stars and Stripes Honor Flight gives our oldest veterans who served in any location in June of 1975 or earlier a free one-day trip to Washington, D.C. for veterans. Airfare, meals, a coach bus tour, and special flight apparel are all included. It's a day of honor, gratitude, and camaraderie. Veterans who served in the Vietnam or Korean War go to flysshf.org and ask for an application.
In Milwaukee County, equity means making sure everyone has a real chance to thrive. That's why the Milwaukee County Office of Equity works to help remove barriers, strengthen community connections, and support fair access to opportunities across Milwaukee County. Want to learn what they do, explore resources, or find ways to get involved? Just search Milwaukee County Office of Equity online. Milwaukee County Office of Equity, advancing equity for all Milwaukee County residents. For more information, search Milwaukee County Office of Equity online.
Are you looking for a place to shop that offers a fair market price? Or how about a place that is clean with a friendly atmosphere, has been recently remodeled? You need to visit Century Food Store on 92nd and Lisbon Avenue. They offer a wide variety of grocery items, meats, and fresh vegetables at a fair market price. And don't forget the hot food section, which offers soul food, Indian, and Mexican foods. So what you waiting for? You can also order groceries through DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Instacart, or stop by Century Foods at 92nd and Lisbon Avenue today.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Curly says, Sherwin, Bob did you a solid today. You asked and you received with your ornery self. Curly also says, once y'all move, we want the tell-all. It's worse than you think. Honestly. The stuff that transpired over the last couple of years. I mean, I wouldn't trade the ride for anything because I learned a tremendous amount about how the business works from different perspectives. So what I learned and how I grew and matured is invaluable, but man, oh man, it was a doozy. So we had Keaton Kloss on the program earlier. She's the executive director of the Milton House, which is a certified stop on the Underground Railroad, and it's an actual museum that you all can tour. And I was thinking about something. And it's very hard to try and imagine this because the reality of an enslaved person is one that lives deep in our buried nightmares. But I wonder if I would have went with Harriet or if I would have escaped on my own, because obviously the conditions are treacherous and you would dream of a life of freedom. And freedom is just across the Ohio River or it's just north of the Mason-Dixon line. Let me be clear. Depending upon where you were, it was hundreds of miles away. Hundreds of miles is a lot to drive, let alone be on foot with slave catchers and bloodhounds hot on your trail. And I wonder if I would have escaped, not knowing where I was going, not knowing if I'd be safe when I got there. Certainly more questions than answers, and you are taking your life into your own hands. Now, where you're at, staying on the plantation, being bludgeoned and beaten and worked absolutely to death, that's no life. And is it worth it to take the risk on what is unknown that is north of the Ohio River, or just stay where you're at and not have to worry about the consequences if you try to escape and get caught? And so I wonder how many of us would actually escape. I think if you ask most modern African Americans that exercise a tremendous amount of independence, 99% of us would tell you, hell yeah, I would have escaped those traditions and chains of slavery. I would have ran away. I would have killed my master, blah, 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 blah. And I'm wondering, what's the modern equivalent? Because right now when we complain about our jobs, all we're doing is complaining about the plantation that we're still on. And how many of you would quit your job and not know what's on the other side of it? You don't like your manager. You don't like your boss. You don't like your CEO. You feel like you're being enslaved. Your wages are too low. The hours are too long. How many of you would just quit your job and not even know if you're going to get another job? Isn't that similar to a slave leaving the plantation? Because at least on the plantation, you know what you're getting. You know what you got. Yes, you have somewhere to sleep. Occasionally, you may get some meals. You know what you're getting. But if you flee and you escape, you have no idea what's on the other side. You got to take a risk on yourself. And if you wouldn't quit a job without having a new job lined up, or if you wouldn't quit a job to be an entrepreneur where you knew you could take care of yourself and your family, chances are you would have stayed your black ass on that plantation. I'll be right there with you, just complaining about it. Me and Nitty out there in the field. Xavier and Zech would have been in the house. serving soups and associated breads.
Oh, yes, sir. I done made a good soup for you.
Come here, nigga boy. Come on, boy. Bring me my soups. Me and Nitty in the field planning a rebellion. We got our rakes and our hoes, and we got our... Oh, no! Run, Nitty! Run! Nitty's dreads is just flying all over the place. Don't go nowhere, huh? Let's talk to... Hi, Al. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Or the other option y'all could have did is just F your way to your freedom. Whether if you was effing down the slave owner or the slave owner's wife. That's another option. Because you remember the outlaws is always the ones who always get condemned because you have to be uncomfortable to win. So it's many things you could have did. But you know, if Harriet Tubman was running with Aunt Polly Jackson, and if they had tidy whities back in the day, a lot of them people would be coming home with dookie stains. And that's why some of their wives today is always throwing away them tidy whities. You think about it. You got Harriet Tubman pulling out that double-barrel shotgun, and she letting that bad boy go off like Sodom and Gomorrah, okay? You got Jesus running. His sundresses keep living up. He getting the hell out the way. He said, I'm not about to deal with these crazy niggas. Then you got Ollie Polly Jackson cutting off the top of their scalp because she ain't taking no mess from nobody who feel she has to be a slave. It would have been a lot of damage done, but you know we would have never heard about it. But moving forward, what I want to say, you know what she can do with that $35,000? She can go buy her a man.
Oh, she sure could. I think she's married, though. I don't
So
matter.
what? She still can buy her a man, especially if he's swinging about 10, 11, 12 inches with the angry vein and that big mushroom here that's the size of a tennis ball or a softball or a buzz ball. That'll really, really stretch you out. So she can buy her a man. That man just has to know the terms and conditions, and then she would have to go get her that alum, you know, because that alum tightens up, you know, the woman's insides, because sometimes
Al, you're talking about the lieutenant governor. That's a lot. That's not nice.
Well, who said we trying to be nice?
Fair.
With everything that's going on in this world, you know, we have this thing right now, we can't live in peace and harmony because some people feel it's okay to be racist. Some people feel their skin color is the best color. They feel their religion is the it religion. Well, it's funny how they all put that aside when it's something catastrophic happen. You know, when they about to drown all of a sudden. All these colors and blackies is the ones that's trying to save your life. Or, you know, you got that Republican, the husband and beat her ass so bad she done ran to the north side. So one of them black women took her in because she know if she go back home, he going to put his foot in her back and she's going to have a 48-hour concussion. Or, you know, their daughters was raised as junkies and they was raped so much by their grandfather and daddy because mama ain't saying nothing. They coming to the north side because they know the black people always going to welcome them with open arms. So it's always something catastrophic in life that bring them back together. But they just do that because they have not had to deal with reality yet. You know, but life is a mother sucker, and they know that. That's why they sitting there looking dumbfounded with a lazy eye like they're getting a disability check. You know what I mean? And then the other thing I want to say to Uncle Bob, you take that $50 a day and you go buy you some ass, okay? And I don't want you trying to get no $150,000 to no Rodriguez. No. You take that $50 and get you some ass. You tell them, look, you say one of my arms might not work, but the one downstairs still do. Now, it might take a little bit to stand up, but you can make that thing shoot a couple of things and put you on some Teddy Pendergrass when you knock them doors down. And another thing I wanted to share also with the women, if you ever out here hard and heavy and you don't have like no birth control and you out in the streets like you trying to catch a disease, remember your cherry juice and get a big jar of Vaseline. Because, see, back in the day, they used the jar of Vaseline so they wouldn't get pregnant. Because, you know, when water hits Vaseline, it cakes up real bad. So I'm just giving you some of this wisdom, but I just want y'all to have yourself a good day, and nobody can dictate your happiness while somebody else is suffer. And
Okay.
to all the rest of you, catch herpes in the mouth and cold sores in your ass. Have a good day.
Damn.
Bye-bye. I kill him dead. I kill him dead if he hurts.
It reminds me of a black bald-head bed bug. You hear me? Slithering around trying to get some blood only at night. Because you don't hear him at day.
One law, one rule, one standard. If God don't do it, it won't get done. Jesus don't do it. Jesus don't do it.
Looks like another love TK.
Say what's in your heart.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on where you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Ford Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityfordcollective.org. That's cityfordcollective.org.
Reading aloud to children sharpens their listening skills, expands their vocabularies, and nurtures a lifelong love of reading. That's why Reading is Fundamental, the nation's leading children's literacy nonprofit, offers free monthly read-alouds by popular authors through its Rally to Read program. Visit rallytoread.org to watch the read-alouds and discover exciting reading activities for school and home. Visit rallytoread.org today.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Linda wants to know, what did she miss today? A lot. We talked about the current state of the Democratic primary for governor, where Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez only has a measly $34,000 cash on hand As a point of reference, Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley dropped out of the race with $300,000 cash on hand, and he endorsed a candidate in Sarah Rodriguez that has 10 times less money than him. We also discussed the many different parts of a political campaign and all of the different sections in which a candidate must spend money. You got to buy voter lists, you got to pay for staff, you got to pay for compliance, you got to pay for office rent, you got to pay for benefits for your staff, you got to pay for advertising, whether it be digital advertising, television advertising, radio advertising. There's a lot of costs involved, and all the prices are inflated because those vendors that provide those services to political campaigns, they know that they, as vendors, are being paid with money that doesn't come necessarily directly out of the candidate's pocket. That money comes from donors that contribute. We also wanted to be fair to the lieutenant governor and give her a whole bunch of different options and things that she can spend her $34,000 on, like a gently used Ford F-150 pickup truck or 1 year of tuition at most state colleges and or universities. We asked you a question on the YouTube poll because we have inquisitive temperaments here, and we just want to know how you feel about certain subject matters. The question is, should Sarah Rodriguez end her campaign for governor? 76% of you say yes, 24% of you say no, and I find that curious because she also has no pathway toward victory. I have an idea. I've been discussing it here and there. Talked about it here, talked about it on the Hughes Views 414 YouTube podcast. I guess we'll do one tonight at 7 o'clock. I don't know if I'm going to keep up this 5 days a week, though, because that's a lot. And I need to have a social life. I got to plan my social life around the damn YouTube podcast. Oh, check this out. So I was supposed to have a date last night, but I decided I don't want to spend any money. So I was just not gonna text her. I was just not, because we kind of set up a tentative thing. We didn't make any concrete plans. So I'm thinking, oh, I'm just gonna get out of it because I'm just not gonna respond to her. You know what she did? She canceled on me. No, hold on, no.
That's God working for you.
Wait, but I want the last laugh. Don't cancel on me. I think she might have felt. Or she also might have heard my show too. I gotta watch out for that because sometimes people be listening. I sometimes listen to Homer and Bailey in the morning. You know what Bailey said one morning? I didn't say nothing to her, though. I let it slide, but it's in my head. I heard her say, I ain't say nothing. Apparently, Homer met Al for the first time. Homer was DJing an event last weekend, and Al happened to be at this event. It was like a 20th wedding anniversary party. And so Homer met Al and took some pictures with him. And then Homer showed Bailey pictures of Al. And Bailey said, oh, we need to find out if Al and Sherwin are some kin because they favor each other. No, we don't. I didn't say nothing to Bailey, though. I didn't say nothing. I let it slide.
She has a lot of interesting takes.
When you say interesting, what do you mean by that? You have a lot of experience with her because you produce her and Homer's show. Give me an example of one of Bailey's interesting takes and be honest.
Well, now that I'm put on the spot.
I think your cell phone is interfering when you use your microphone. You have your Bluetooth on or something? Or put your cell phone away.
I don't know.
You hear that?
Yeah, it just started doing that.
Yeah, well, you can't talk till you fix it. It only does it with your phone. Or your. Why don't you figure your life out? Let's talk to Tony. Hello, Tony. How are you?
A little upset, to be honest.
Oh, tell me why.
Look, I put on social media many times, I'm getting sick of the stupidity and weakness of the Democratic Party. Now, you just said that Sarah Rodriguez has no clear path. First of all, has Governor Evers endorsed anybody yet?
No.
Coward. I'll get to him later. Now, if she doesn't have a clear path, then who does? I mean, my opinion, I said it before, Mandela Barnes should not even think about running. He should immediately drop out. We've seen what happened the last time he tried to run. Hong, whoever she is a local delicacy. She has no chance of winning the upper state or very much little of the middle state. She has no shot of winning outside cities, maybe. that leaves Sarah Rodriguez in. I forgot who the other guy is. But Sarah Rodriguez should be the front runner. But the Democrats aren't doing anything to separate themselves, or the people who are running are weak and have no shot at all. We might as well just hand Tom Tiffany the governorship right now and be done with it.
No, we're not. So Joel Brennan is in the race and Kelda Royce is in the race as well. So here's the question. Who has a path to victory? Whoever we select. Now we have to figure out amongst the remaining candidates, who do we want to put through to the general election? And I say this with some strategy in mind. And you don't have to love the candidate, but I'm going to need y'all to love the strategy. If the black vote is responsible for moving one of these candidates to the general election, then they will be beholden to our agenda. And if they're not beholden to our agenda, they will not get elected governor and their political future will falter. We have to decide to get behind a candidate and have that candidate represent our interests. Now, what we're used to is the candidates coming to us and begging the black vote and then pandering to us. That's not how the world works anymore. We now have to put our vote behind somebody, and when they advance through the primary, I want an underdog. And my underdog that I'm going with is Joel Brennan, because I know that Joel Brennan will be loyal to a constituency that takes him from underdog to the nominee of the Democratic Party for governor. That's my strategy, and I'm sticking to it. In fact, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I'm going to write Joel a little check. I might take that little $50 I'm going to get from Bob and give it to Joel.
You can get that $250.
What you think, Tony? You getting quiet over there, Tony?
No, I'm listening to the 250 part. Okay, that guy I have to research. I don't really know anything about him. But you yourself have said that none of the Democrats are representing the black agenda right now. So we supposed to wait till we nominate them so they can turn their backs on us?
Absolutely not. You be proactive. We pick one of them and say, okay, we're going to ride with you. We're going to get you through, but here's what you're going to do in exchange for us. And that's a useful political strategy because the Republicans do it all the time. Hell, they did it with Trump. Some of the most unlikely Republican voters and constituencies got behind Donald Trump early, and they made Donald Trump a promise. They said, Trump, you're not going to win this race without us. We will get you to the finish line, but when you win, here is what you owe us. You owe us justices on the federal bench and on the Supreme Court so we can overturn Roe versus Wade. You know what Trump said? He said, okay. And they took him from polling at 1% in 2016 to him getting elected president in November of that same year. We should execute the same strategy. John Kennedy in 1960 won by the narrowest of margins in any presidential contest, won by basically one vote in every voting precinct in America. This was the first time you saw the African-American voter voted an 80% number for John F. Kennedy. And what did he do? Started the civil rights movement policy agenda. Now, Kennedy didn't live to be able to sign enough legislation into law, but Lyndon Johnson signed Fair Housing, Civil Rights Act, Voting Rights Act. All because that was the legacy of John F. Kennedy, who wanted to do right by the constituency that got him elected president. All we got to do is take a page out of history, and we'll go and make a candidate a winner, and that candidate will be loyal to our agenda. But for us to expect them to come to us is hogwash, because who wants to represent black people the way we act these days? Don't nobody want to represent us, but if we can show our political strength, that we can move a candidate from underdog to winner, well, then their political future is tied to who? Tied to us. It's very simple,
True.
Tony.
It's true, but as of right now, every time you say underdog, I keep thinking about Hong.
The problem with her is she's not going to be able to get enough Democrats elected down ballot, because Democrats in the state of Wisconsin need to have a majority in the Wisconsin State Senate and the Wisconsin State Assembly. Francesca Hong advancing to the general election is not going to bring enough down ballot Democrats into office, because she is an anomaly, and her supporters are not likely to vote for some of those other Democrats anyway that we're going to need to be in the majority in the state Senate and the state Assembly. So she is no help for Democratic majorities. She potentially could get elected governor, but she's going to have zero legislative support, so nothing is going to get done.
Oh, good grief. Why did she drop two?
Joel Brennan is an actual Democrat. She is not. I'm not voting for somebody that's not a Democrat. I'm just not. If I'm not voting for a Democrat, then I might as well vote for a damn Republican. She's not a Democrat. Just because you hear Democratic Socialist don't mean she's a Democrat.
I don't want her in at all, to be honest with you. But this Joe, I got to get ready to leave. That Joe Brennan, I'll research him, because be honest with you, I don't really know much about him, but I'll research him.
All right, Tony.
I'll take your word for it. I'll take your word for it.
All right, thank you, Tony. Goodbye now.
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye. Joel will be on with me on Wednesday. He'll be in the studio, 11 o'clock.
Oh, next Wednesday?
That's right.
Oh, okay.
Is that okay with you, sir? I mean,
Oh, yeah, it's okay. He's allowed on.
I know he allowed on. I know you're going to be butthurt if you start making sense.
Me? I would not be butthurt. So for me, I'm not rigid in my staunch support for her. I mean, I'm going to vote for whoever the Democratic nominee is, because I know what's going to happen if Tom Tiffany becomes the governor. Yeah, Francesca's my first choice, but if she doesn't go through, I'm voting for whoever the Democratic nominee is. If
Fair enough. She represents a particular kind of political liability because in order for things to get done positively for the state, let alone for Milwaukee, Democrats are going to need a majority in both chambers of the legislature, and Francesca cannot credibly campaign for other Democrats in other parts of the state because her political views are not in line with other Democrats. Joel Brennan can bring majorities to the Wisconsin State Senate and the Wisconsin State Assembly because we need that. And plus, Joel Brennan is a Democrat. Oh, what does this dude want? I really want to hear from this dude. So I'm going to take a break, come back, and we're going to... What is his name today? Did he give you a name yet? All right, why don't we do this? I'll take us to break. I'll let you finish talking to him. We're going to take a phone call on the other side. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
Mommy, can I sit in the front seat just this one time? Please, please, please.
No, not yet.
But why?
Because I love you, and you're just not ready yet. Now, get in the back so I can get you in your car seat, please.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love. Check that your kids are in the right seat at NHTSA.gov/the right seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
For 250 years, our armed forces have bravely served America. Wounded Warrior Project honors that legacy by supporting post-9/11 service members and veterans like Anthony, a Marine who was injured by a roadside bomb in Afghanistan.
They carried me through my injuries, not just my physical, but my mental. And seeing other vets doing the same thing helped me tell myself, hey, you can do this.
Join us in honoring warriors at woundedwarriorproject.org/America.
In the United States, a vehicle is stolen every 31 seconds, about as long as this message. Luckily, you can take a few easy steps to protect your car in the same amount of time. Remove your valuables, roll up your windows, don't leave your car running unattended, lock your doors, and take your keys or fob. If you have information about a crime, call the police. If you suspect insurance fraud, also call 800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes, rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Crazy, I'm crazy for feeling so lonely.
Oh, look, it's Israel. Hi, Israel. How are you doing today?
Trying to maintain.
Okay.
This government or this governor's thing is getting kind of complicated right now because people don't really see, like, I don't think people can really read the room with politics now right now. And this is Black Talk Radio, so I'm going to speak, for concerns of the black community right now. But in a perfect world, Francesca Hong would be, the perfect candidate, everything. But there's an issue with a lack of respect and discipline for somebody who has ideologies of, getting rid of prisons and, because she's thinking about rehabilitation and stuff like that and defunding the police, without police and everything, what would we do? And that's, kind of dangerous right now with tension so high and everything. Without police, what would people do in the first place? You understand what I'm saying here? So ultimately, this could get, conservative, a lot of attention and consideration if people still, want to keep home intact, if that makes sense. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
So right now, Crowley kind of dropped out because, Crowley is a great man, one of the best men I've ever met. But, he just, I don't know if it was a race thing or people just didn't trust him, but, we got to do better as a black community. So, when a man like Crowley steps up, he doesn't get a bad reputation because of who he's associated with, which is kind of strange, I guess, in today's day and age.
Yes. Strange in today's day and age.
Like I said, there's a lack of so what is it with us? Is it a lack of self-respect or a lack of discipline? We have to stop using slurs and derogatory terms towards each other like it's cool because the generation now is being robbed, they're being abused, they're stuck in between the abuse and the jealousy right now. You can look at the kids' expression right now; they don't know how they feel about being called out of their names. This is something we really need to work on. We might have to take this to the black entertainment industry and say, hey, we can't use these words anymore.
What words? What's an
ourselves.
example of one of the words or the slurs you're referring to?
The N-word, words referring to gay people, words referring to disreputable women who work for $1 without a proper profession, and what people say to a woman when they're upset. I'm not upset, or I do have feelings, but I didn't say that. You know what I mean? We need to learn a little bit more patience, respect, and discipline before a great woman like Francesca could ever be a glorious leader for us.
How did a little Asian woman from Madison become our leader? Just curious as to how that happened.
Because she's a breath of fresh air. She speaks of the utopia.
Yeah, that's fantasy, though. A breath of fresh air is great, but that doesn't actually create policy. It just sells dreams.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How you been otherwise? Been okay? Staying out of trouble?
I think so.
All right, then. Been arrested lately?
Yeah, I just got out a couple weeks ago.
I figured. Okay. What'd you get arrested for?
That was a misunderstanding. No. I was just trying to help a troubled soul express herself. Transgressions and everything. Long live the chief.
So you got arrested because you were trying to help a troubled soul. How were you trying to help them?
Just let them know I understand and I'm here.
Okay. And somebody called the police on you?
No, I had to turn myself in, but that's a story for another day.
Oh, I have
this is
time.
Real life. This is why I stay to myself. My life, I don't know. Sometimes I got to go out of my way or something. I don't know.
What do you do for fun? So if you let's say it's a Saturday night and, you got a little energy, what would you do on a Saturday night to entertain yourself?
I was thinking, I don't know. I got into this thing called nerd science. I watched these crazy videos with, I don't know, I saw something about Bane and Craven the other day, or Leon versus Jeepers Creepers, and somehow Constantine pulled up. It was crazy. I don't know. When I'm not, keeping track of everything else.
Do you ever go out to restaurants or bars? Do you drink? I hope not.
No, not really. I did have a little Bacardi.
Oh. So sometimes you get lit off that Bacardi. Sometimes.
No, I didn't drink a little Bacardi out.
Okay. Do you have a favorite restaurant or a favorite bar in the city? I'd love to hear your recommendations.
think I've been really liking the Asian cuisine lately.
You got something going on with Asians now. You like
I have
Asian
it.
cuisine, huh?
I don't have a thing. I have it.
You have it for Asians. You ever dated an Asian woman before?
No.
You ever dated a white woman?
Predominantly, actually. It's kind of we're not that active. Like, you know, like I'm not active, but like of the dating age, I was just in an environment where there was just a lot more white girls. I don't know. But yeah.
Hold on. You've dated predominantly white women?
Yeah, mostly.
What's some advice you would give to an African-American man who's interested in playing in the snow? What advice would you give him if he wants to date a white lady?
We got to make sure she doesn't have a fetish first. Make sure she genuinely wants to be with you. To be honest, like she respects you as a human, not just as a man, but as a human first. And don't put too much emphasis on your masculinity and pride with her because she has some cards she could play, but at the same time she's very considerate. You know what I mean? Like sometimes the nicest girls will tell you the truth. It might hurt your feelings, but it's like at least I didn't stab you in the back.
Where do you meet your white women?
I haven't dated in years. I'm still kind of working through some stuff.
Okay, that's good. Working on yourself is actually really good. You want to make sure that you're in a good mental space before you bring somebody into your life. I really respect and admire that, sir. It's good.
Excuse me?
I said, no, I respect and admire that you're trying to get yourself into a good place before you bring someone into your life.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want kids one day?
I want to have 2 soccer teams.
2 soccer teams worth of kids?
What do you mean by that? Yeah. So days when I do nothing, my favorite kids can play against the B team or something. I don't know if people have favorites when it comes to their children.
They do. How many people are on one soccer team?
There's 11.
You want 22 kids?
I don't know. We might be able to do it like a small indoor, 6 on 6 or 7 on 7.
How old are you?
34.
Oh, you got time.
I got a lot of work. Yeah.
You got to get started, though.
No, we can adopt, too,
Okay. Well, this is wonderful information. I really appreciate you taking the time to share these details with us. This helps us know a lot more about you.
Oh, yeah. And one more thing. Make sure you keep an eye on your children when they're crossing the street, too. Hold hands. Make sure you teach your children to look both ways, too.
Thank you. Okay, then.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Oh, you too, Israel. You too.
That was awesome.
How many kids do you want? Or do you want children? He said, I want 2 soccer teams. So that's pretty cool. The more questions you ask, you know what I mean? You get some really valuable answers. Israel's been calling our shows for many, many years. Did not know that he predominantly dated the white ladies.
I'm not surprised.
And he's like, make sure they don't have a fetish. I take your word for it, sir. I got to go. Lunch break is up next. Bye-bye.
I'm Chris Jakovic. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is, my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately, in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakovic, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns.